deal with all these different people myself, I went ahead and decided to use them and do not regret it in the least. Normally, I don't call ads on the radio. I have to say that all the things that I heard from various commercials, which I've been hearing for a long time, are true.
One mega call does it all.
847-658-8989. 847-658-8989.
Megapros.com.
One mega call does it all.
Hi, this is David Hochberg, and I'm here with my good friend and real estate attorney and trust planning expert, David Schluter. David, I got a call the other day from a listener. Family member was named as an executor to the estate and has not received a response in 6 months after the second parent has passed away. What are the options for this listener?
The reason they may not be calling him back is because it could be in a private trust in which that sibling who's calling you may not be a part of, unfortunately. So the answer is to have a qualified attorney like me have the title pulled to see exactly how that title was held. If it's in a private trust, they might or may not answer a letter, but if it's still in the parent's name, they can force an estate regardless of what the brother or sister want to do.
This is why you need to call David Schluter if you have any real estate or estate planning questions. 630-285-5300. 630-285-5300.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Sherlock Holmes, we have a new mystery.
My dear Watson, what conundrum requires our sleuthing?
It's these high gas prices, Sherlock. How do I stop paying too much at the pump?
Elementary, Watson. Simply use the cashback app, Upside.
The Upside app has eluded my attention.
Oh, come now, Watson. Upside is the revolutionary app that's free to download, and you get real cashback for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
So you can really make cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway.
Precisely, my dear Watson. I have the app open now. Look, there's a gas station not far from here offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Sherlock, you've done it again. I will now use the Upside app and earn cash back on every gallon of gas I buy.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WATSON to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WATSON for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WATSON for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This episode of Home Sweet Home Chicago is sponsored by David Hochberg and MegaPros Home Improvement and Restoration, Tim Reifstack from Huso Bio, Stephen A. Leahy from OPEM Tax Advocates, and the law offices of David Schluter. For additional sponsors of the Home Sweet Home program, please visit WGNradio.com/Home Sweet Home Chicago. Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
Thank you, Mr. Jennings. We got a packed show. He already mentioned who's going to be on, so I'm going to cut to the chase. Oh, what, buddy? How many miles to Chicago?
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Hello, Chicago!
My name is David Hochberg, host of Home Sweet Home Chicago.
That's the best in the city of Chicago.
Where you from?
Chicago.
That's the Chicago.
It's time for Home Sweet Home Chicago.
We're on a mission from God.
With your host, David Hochberg.
Helps when we turn the microphone on there, Leahy. 312-981-7200.
I'm not in control of that.
312, thank gosh. 312-981-7200. Go to WGNDavid.com. You haven't eaten meat in 3 weeks?
Except for Sunday.
Except for Sundays. He's going through the whole Lent protocol. 312-981-7200. 312-981-7200. It's MegaPros call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago. We're here until 1 to help you with all of your real estate needs. In the home, out of the home, fixing a home, buying a home, selling a home, getting ready to buy a home, whatever, cleaning up a mess of a dead body. We've got everything covered. Yes, we're expanding into body removal of your home and cleanup. You never thought about that. So now we're going to talk about it. 312-981-7200, MegaPros. Call, text, and photo line. Mr. Leahy.
Yes, sir.
What's up, buddy?
How are you today, David?
I'm great.
What a great drive down.
Great drive down. We made a video while driving.
I'm doing the shorts, so go to Facebook and find the shorts.
Steve is Mr.
What do they call them shorts? What do they call them on Facebook?
Real stories, reels. I don't know.
Reels is correct.
Steve is Mr. Internet social media guru now. He said, no, and all due respect to Steve, kudos to Steve. That's a lot of work. And he sent me a little clip. Say, hey, you should check this out. This is pretty interesting. That's how Steve sounds, Tim, in case you're wondering. So I watched it, and I'm like, this is really cool. And what did Steve do while we were driving down? He made a reel, a story or something, and we posted it. Yep. And your kids and your wife saw it. So we're off to a
we got to start somewhere.
We're off to a great start. So kudos to you, my friend. What are we talking about?
I'm going to talk about the 3 secrets, what every business owner needs to know to find the freedom that they're looking for.
All right. And we also going to talk about the couple that you referred me out in the Western Burbs. We don't like being specific because they're listening. I told her that we wouldn't mention her name. How they're buying a home from their landlord who's giving them an extremely deep discount, Dave, you'll like this. And she wanted to buy it one way with another broker that she talked to, mortgage professional. I'm like, that's not the right way to do it. It's not how I would do it. Here's how I would do it. And bam, the other guy's kicked to the curb. And we're running the ship. So we're going to talk about that during your segment as well.
Good. And again, I had referred her to other people. And she says, everybody you refer me to is awesome. So I said, well, you talk to David.
Well, this is the stem of and now you get and now you're going to talk to David. I said, it's a nice backhanded slap. That's nice. If our listeners want to reach you, how do they reach you?
Call me 312-664-6649. Now go to fightbacknow.com too, because we have a workshop coming up, and you won't want to miss that if you're a business owner.
All right, Attorney David Schluter. I feel like an Oreo cookie here. I'm the cream in the middle of the attorney sandwich here. David Schluter, what's going on with you, my friend?
We are toughing it out. The market is not that great, but we are doing okay. We, of course, have diverse things besides real estate, but we're doing all right. It's my 37th year of practicing, and you can reach me anytime out in DuPage. Always a free consultation, 630-285-5300, and you know what I'll be talking about today.
All right. That's David Schluter. I got also something else I want to throw on there. Undisclosed home improvements killed a recent transaction that I want to discuss. Couple sold their home with their 4 kids. So they have literally 17 days now to find a home because this home was their dream home. And I want to talk about that. Undisclosed construction that they found out about a week after they paid for the appraisal, $500. So now we're under the gun, which is fine. We already had one loan approved, so we'll just change the address. We're in new appraisal. So I want to talk about that. All right?
It's right in my wheelhouse.
Phone number?
630-285-5300.
Tim Reifsteck. Did I do all right?
That's good enough.
No, come on, man. I'm horrible with names. Everybody. Reifsteck. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I put the stink on there. All right. Reifsteck.
Correct.
Okay. So it's Tim from now on. Huso Bio.
Yes.
You own a company.
Correct.
That disposes of bodies, that cleans up after bodies. Explain what you do. It's fascinating. Yes. I know it's kind of Saturday morning. You're sitting down having your cornflakes, but pop an Imodium and listen to this. What exactly do you do?
Okay, so what we do is biohazard remediation. So we come in after situations such as a homicide, a suicide, or an unintended death, and perform that cleanup for the homeowner or a business owner. And then from that, we come in, disinfect the entire house, and dispose of all the material properly.
And we're going to talk about some horrifying situations that you've experienced.
Yep.
And one of the winners who donated to the Vestathon and went to the hockey game with us in my suite. I'm sitting there talking to her, and it turned out either I don't know if it was her sister or sister-in-law. Something happened. She passed away and was in the apartment or in the house for 3 days. Okay, that's the situation where your company would come in, because a lot of things happening with bodies over a 72-hour period of time, right?
It could be a couple hours, actually.
Okay, great, wonderful. Again, enjoy your cornflakes, but it's happening every day, right?
Yes, it is.
And just as a bonus, just to see how good you are, you've got the crew downstairs. Stephen A. Leahy has volunteered to be murdered on the show.
Not today, though.
No, we're gonna gut them, and we're gonna have guts all over the place, and we just want to see how good you are. Okay. I got the clear from Nexstar. They're fine. Okay. They're like just clean it up. We never liked Steven in the first place. Whatever. We just
The crew's on standby.
The crew's on standby. Okay, see, Steve, you didn't even know that. I wanted to surprise you.
David,
Yes.
I was on the elevator and there was a guy with a shop vac. He goes, "I'm here for the end of the show."
Yeah, well, we were going to do.
I didn't know why he was here.
We didn't want to wait till the end of the show. We were going to surprise Steven with the fact he's getting murdered, and then just not announce when the actual event will happen. Okay. And the Chicago PD is on notice, so we could all be arrested at the same time. All right. If our listeners want to want to reach out and get more information, how do they reach out to you guys?
They can go to the website, which is www.husobio. That's HUUSOBIO.com.
All right, we're going to take a quick call here, then hit a break. Karen in Des Plaines, thanks for calling. You got a capital gains question for Stephen A. Leahy, or maybe David A. Schluter. How are you? Go ahead.
Good morning. I am calling. My husband died in 2020. I'm planning on selling my house this summer, but I don't know about the capital gains, and there was something I read within 2 years of selling a house. Can I get any information on that?
Yeah, well, first of all, sorry for your loss, and may your husband's memory be a blessing. David, we have a horrible situation. We hear this every single day, right? And we have homeowners now. We got a lot of things going on. Emotions come into play. What's the tax exemption for a homestead selling their home?
Because she is now single, and again, our condolences, there's a $250,000 exemption if you were living in a principal residence, which is your home. And it's not that you have to sell it for $250,000 or lower, but you have to take your old purchase price, what you paid for, add $250,000. And if you still are okay, you're not going to owe any capital gains as long as that 2 year is about having slept there 2 of the last 5 years. So you're fine because you've been living there. So the first $250,000 over and above what you paid for the home is tax free.
How does it make you feel, Karen?
Oh, okay. If I had sold it within 2 years, was there a $500,000?
If $500,000 when you were married, but again, if you only owned it for less than 2 years, you would have paid a gain. So it only relates, the $250,000 and the $500,000 only relate to principal residences that you hang on to for at least 2 years. In fact, many people, if I can share a quick story.
No, I got a break.
They sold one day after the 2 years, so they didn't have to pay.
Okay, Steve, you want to add anything as a tax
I do
expert?
not.
Okay, you concur.
I concur.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy.
Karen, where in Des Plaines do you live? Because I grew up over by Gulf Mill.
I'm off of Gulf Road and Dempster in that area.
Oh, my God. We're neighbors.
There.
Yeah, did your kids go to Maine East? Yeah.
West.
Maine West. All right, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
We won't hold that against you. Do you need help selling your home?
You know what? I'm not at that point yet, but I know that you have some great people on your show that will help me.
Yes, we will take care of you. So we're going to put you on hold, get you a Mr. Floyd cleaning product, and once again, sorry for your loss, and we're here if you have any more questions.
Thank you.
All right, my friend, hang on. Jack, let's pick up Karen. That's what we do. We help our listeners. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. That's a MegaPros call, text, and photo line. We're going to come back with Stephen A. Leahy. I'm going to throw the situation out about your client first. I know you want to talk about 3 important things, but I know the borrower is listening. Your client, my borrower, is listening. And I think our listeners can learn a lot out of her situation, her and her husband's situation. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. That's a MegaPros call, text, and photo line. We're going to pay some bills. Be back with Stephen A. Leahy after these messages.
Chicago's very own WGN.
Hi, it's Lou Manfredini. There are few rites of spring more satisfying than the annual deep clean. This spring cleaning tip is sponsored by Lindemann Chimney Heating and Cooling. Properly cleaning and sweeping ash from the firebox in your fireplace is safe and important for proper operation. But what do you do with all that ash? Well, did you know it contains calcium, potassium, and magnesium? How about you sprinkle it onto your lawn and garden? It's also high in pH, meaning that if you have soils that are acidic, you can add the ash as a way to neutralize the pH. Just sprinkle it on your lawn to give it a little alkaline boost. And now this. Springtime is the best time for your annual chimney cleaning and inspection. Now that the burning season's over, hire Lindemann Chimney Heating and Cooling to clean out your dirty, smelly fireplace. And while they're there, they can check the masonry to make sure that you keep the spring rains out. Go to cleanfireplace.com. That's cleanfireplace.com for Lindemann Chimney Heating and Cooling.
BMO Harris is a proud sponsor of the Home Sweet Home Chicago radio program. If you, like many other homeowners right now, are considering a home renovation project, contact BMO Harris Bank to learn more about how they can help you finance your projects. For more information, visit them at bmoharris.com/homesweethome. That's bmoharris.com/homesweethome. Or just click their link on the WGN Home Sweet Home Chicago program page.
Is your kitchen showing wear and tear? Do you have cracked or chipped countertops or dated cabinets without the upgraded features you'd love to have, like pull-out drawers? If you struggle for places to put things due to a lack of storage, it's time for a kitchen tune-up and a trip to Builder's Supply Outlet. Just like your car's engine needs to be in good working order, your kitchen needs to function efficiently. At Builder's Supply Outlet, you can find the parts and services you need to get your kitchen working at peak performance. Let their design team do some diagnostics to see how to maximize your space. Maybe it's base drawers, great for organizing, or sliding shelves for convenience. Even wall cabinets that extend to the ceiling can help make use of all your space to store those less used items. Get a kitchen tune-up at Builder's Supply Outlet and the Edge Kitchen and Bath. 5 miles east of the Oakbrook Shopping Mall on Cermak Road at 25th Avenue in Broadview, or buildersupplyoutlet.com.
If I ever needed to sell my home, there's only one person I would trust with that task, and that is Sarah Leonard of the Sarah Leonard team, RE/MAX Suburban. If you want your home listed, you just go ahead, call any agent. If you want your home sold, you need to call Sarah Leonard. You can see she is a natural-born salesperson, but more than that, she's about solving problems and helping out her customers. Call Sarah now at 224-239-3966 or visit sarahleonardsells.com.
It's a show about food, fashion, and some fun. Daytime Chicago with Tanya Francisco and Amy Rutledge. Weekday mornings at 10 on WGN TV.
Home Sweet Home Chicago.
Stephen A. Lay.
I just wanted to mention that the IRS had this problem, and a lot of people weren't getting their refunds.
You're exactly right.
Wham!
What are you talking about?
That's kind of like a Batman.
Oh my gosh, that's actually opposite. You're
it's
exactly
like a
right.
Batman cartoon where you go, pow, pow, pow.
Not true.
But just to solidify my point, fight back now. Fight back now.
I can say that live, Fight back now.
I'd rather hear it on tape.
Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
The magic of Joe Hogel. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200, 630. David, you are the best. I agree with that statement. 312. Your last caller, this is from a text guide here, Stephen. Your last caller would absolutely be entitled to a stepped-up basis for the 50%.
We talked about that.
Get from her
2 years
husband.
from the day that he died, then you get the $500,000 because you get double.
All right. So you guys clean that up? Okay, good. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. So Stephen A. Leahy.
I appreciate the input, though.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
BBCPA.
But I knew that.
I know you.
And I was going to say that.
Here we go. Now we're insulting his integrity here. I knew that. I didn't need any text message to tell me that. And I know what PITI is.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
3 with principal owner's tax insurance. 312-981-7200, MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. You referred me a couple who both had some challenges, and you had helped out the wife. They were living in a single family home worth $625,000 to rebuild themselves, and they're in a position now that they want to buy the home that they're living in, and the landlord is willing to sell to them a $625,000 home, Schluter.
I'm listening.
For $500,000. So I'm like, that's phenomenal.
Praise the Lord.
They're like, well, we want to put this down. We don't have money for closing costs. I'm like, you don't need any money for closing costs. I'm like, we're going to get, they're like, we got 5% to put down. We can put more down. I'm like, why don't you put 3% down? You're going to get built in all the equity that you have there. So I explained it to them. I explained it to the wife. Very, very nice lady. And so, Dave, check this out. We got $500,000 purchase price. So I built in a 3% closing cost credit. So we're going to increase the purchase price to $515,400, which is 100% legal with Fannie and Freddie.
And you'll have no appraisal issue.
No appraisal issue at all.
All.
Hopefully not.
No, you're not.
Better not. No, on Zillow it showed up at $625,000.
Yeah.
So she's totally in. I had to explain it a couple of times. I'm like, we're We're going to cover all the closing costs. You got to put 3% in the deal, and then you'll get the tax proration back. She'll actually walk away from the closing with money because the closing costs will cover every single thing possible that we could cover. Schluter's fee, first year worth of insurance. I'm like a kid in a candy store, right? It's like Hanukkah time, and I'm running around with free gelt here, right? So I'm going to pay off this. I'm going to pay off that. I'm going to pay everything. And then what's ever left over, we're going to buy down the rate or buy her out of private mortgage insurance. Why? Because we can. Because she's got all this equity there. Then all of a sudden she throws a curveball in Schluter. She's like, well, you know what?
There's always a curveball.
Well, no, it's a good curveball, right? She's like, we might need a new heater and air conditioner. I'm like, well, I highly doubt that the seller's going to throw in another 10 to 15 G's into the house. I go, call up your HVAC guy, have him come out, give you a quote. We'll jack up the purchase price, whatever it is, to cover the cost of the HVAC. We got plenty of room to play with there. An extra 10, 15 grand, another $7 a month, 12, maybe $12, $13 a month.
With no effect on the seller. They're still netting what they wanted to net.
Seller's going to net out whatever the seller nets out. It's beautiful. And I said, here's the other thing. Rates are going to start declining, right? At the end of the year, beginning of next year. Perfect time. You got to make 6 payments. Your neighbors are going to start selling their houses at the market instead of getting huge discounts. And we're going to be closer to getting you out of PMI at that time. So all of this is with one. This is what we do, right? The other lender's like, nah, you got to bring in all this money. You can't do it. And I'm like, what are you, nuts? You're not bringing in anything. You're going to walk away. She's going to buy a home and walk away from the closing with cash, which is 100% legal. And then she's going to finance her next mortgage payment. So it's actually going to feel like it's going to skip a month, which you never skip a month, as David knows, and all these lenders that say, oh, you're going to skip a month. It's a bunch of crap. You never skip a month. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And so I made you look really good. I just wanted
That's
you
why I sent her to you, Dave.
I just wanted to let you.
I did have to. I have to tell her. I said Dave's he's a straight shooter, so
Yeah, I'm
prepared.
like,
He's
you
gonna
don't
tell
want to
the
do
way it
any
is.
of that. I'm like, who? I'm like, what the other guy should have told me this? I'm like, that wrong. So I got $625,000 home that she's getting in the low fives. Plus, we're going to finance a new heating and air conditioning unit. For it's awesome. I wish every single transaction's like that.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. So
Good.
thank you very much.
Which is why I sent her to you.
Well, I appreciate that. We got to take a quick break. We'll come back with your 3 ABCs and with the Jackson 5 ABC. You know,
One of my favorite songs.
You love that. You got the bell bottoms with the frizzles on them.
I did see Michael Jackson at the Golf Mill Theater.
Okay, great. Cool. The wall. Care, raise your hand. Nobody.
Well, yeah, I thought you did because you're from Des Plaines.
I know. My mother used to work at golf at a Mill Run Theater.
Run.
Right. And there used to be the Millionaires Club, dining club right
Got
across.
that right. Theater in the round, baby.
Right. It was awesome. 312-981-7200. But thanks for bringing us back to the 70s. 312-981-7200. It's a Mega Pros call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGM.
With the local resources of Channel 9 and the national resources of cable news network News Nation, this is WGN Radio, on air and online.
35 degrees with some snow flurries and rain out there at 10:31. Good morning, I'm Don Kleppen. The news is sponsored by News Nation. New rules go into effect this weekend for anyone crossing over the border between the U.S. and Canada. What changes you need to know about coming up. In sports, the NCAA tournament rolls on today with finals in the East and West Regionals. Live coverage of Gonzaga against Connecticut, that is. That's at 7:45, and it's right here on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. Kansas State at Florida Atlantic also in the tournament. Blackhawks ahead of those, though. They're taking on the Wild in Minnesota today. Pregame with Joe Brand at 3:30 and 4 o'clock face-off with John Weideman and Troy Murray here on 720 as well. Desert Baseball, Cubs against the Angels, White Sox, and the Cincinnati Reds. And Major League Soccer, Chicago Fire are in Miami to play. WGN traffic, that is. Looking at the interstates right now, the delays on the Edens are building inbound starting at Cicero. It's 25 minutes from Lake Cook into the Kennedy. Outbound's clear on the Kennedy. Lawrence to Montrose is slow, and then it gets gridlocked until Fullerton. 40 minutes from O'Hare downtown, 23 from the Edens. The express lanes can save you 10 minutes inbound. Outbound's just about clear. The Eisenhower is half hour in from 390 downtown. And Dan Ryan outbound at 31st. The on-ramp from 31st is blocked by a crash, which knocked down a light pole. DuSable Drive southbound slow from Foster to Montrose because of an accident through there. A man is charged with murdering an Austin woman outside her home last month and is set to appear in court today. 23-year-old Basir Muhammad also faces assault and weapons charges. Police say Muhammad shot Tracy Allen Showers as she was getting out of her car in the 5500 block of West Lemoyne, February 28th. The 55-year-old had parked her car after picking up her daughter from work when she was shot. Police took Muhammad into custody Thursday at 73rd and Kenwood. The Illinois State Senate passed a bill requiring air conditioning in affordable housing units. This comes after the deaths of 3 senior citizens in their apartments on Chicago's far north side during a heat wave last summer. The proposed law says any housing financed under the state's affordable housing program has to have AC units that can be controlled by residents. It also requires units to be kept at least 68 degrees from October through May. The bill now moves to the State House. Chicago police have announced 2 programs aimed at speeding up the rehiring process in an attempt to bring back officers who've left. To qualify for the rehire program, former officers must be under the age of 50 and have left CPD in the last 3 years. They'd return to the department as officers regardless of what rank they held when they left. They would receive the same pay rate when they left the department. Under the lateral hire program, officers working in other cities can rejoin CPD while receiving credit for service time. And the Chicago Board of Elections says it's recruiting bilingual election judges for the mayoral runoff election that's set for April 4th, and judges can get paid $230. You can apply at pollworker.chicagoelections.gov. Early voters can already get help from bilingual voting officials on the north and south sides of the city. And 7 of Chicago's snowplows have officially gotten their new names. The winning entries from the city's You Name a Snowplow contest, which more than 17,000 people submitted for and over 80,000 voted for. The winning names are Mrs. O'Leary's Plow, Duh Plow, Salter Peyton, Sears Plower, Sleet Home Chicago, Holy Plow, and Jean-Baptiste Point du Shovel. WGN weather forecast. Heavy snow at times throughout today, rain mixing in with that. Wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour as well. The high today is 38 officially. Tonight mostly cloudy, not as cold or windy. The low is 30 overnight. Wind gusts only getting up to 10 miles an hour. For tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, milder except by the lake. Highs 47 for Chicagoland officially on Sunday. The extended outlook shows a rainy, snowy mix on Monday with highs near 40 as well. Right now, 35 at O'Hare, 35 at Midway. It's 34 in Northbrook, 34 downtown along the lakefront as well, with some snow and rain and fog mixing out there. So limited visibility and slick roads too. I'm Don Kleppen on Chicago's very own 720 WGN and WGNradio.com.
1-800-GOT-JUNK trucks are deceptively beautiful.
How?
Every 1-800-GOT-JUNK truck looks like a limousine for hauling junk.
A junk limousine.
But beneath that gorgeous exterior is a mega heavy-duty junk removal machine.
1-800-GOT-JUNK trucks were designed to be ready for anything.
How about construction site junk?
All you have to do is point.
Department store junk?
All you have to do is point.
Retail, grocery store, warehouse junk?
Point, point, point.
How about the monumental junk left after a fire?
All you have to do is point.
Or a flood?
Do you really need me to say it?
Or a hurricane?
Again, all you have to do is point. But this time, you'll need to do it with your other hand.
Why?
Because the first hand will be tired from all of that other pointing.
I see your point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
I have 2 dogs, Sam and Bailey. Both are golden retrievers. Poor Sam, he was a mess. Always itching. His paws were soaking wet all day from just constant licking. He had bald spots on his back. I just don't like putting shots and steroids into your dog all the time. DINOVITE.com. Dynovite is nutrition. Probably 2 weeks after he started Dynovite, I started seeing great improvements, and today 99% of his issues are non-existent. It's amazing stuff. Since Bailey has been 12 weeks old, he's been a Dynovite dog, and he has 0 issues today. He won't eat his food without Dynovite. When I get out the Dynovite, my dogs actually salivate, like I'm getting them a treat. They drool over it. Dynovite is the best thing you can do for your dog.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dynovite from DINOVITE.com.
Let's face it, talking about life insurance is never easy. But after we watched a close friend lose her husband with no insurance, we decided that wasn't going to happen to our family.
Yeah, but shopping for life insurance can be almost as difficult as talking about it.
But then we heard about Ethos Life Insurance. They're a new kind of life insurance, built for people on a busy schedule who don't have time for unnecessary doctor's visits, fine print, or hidden fees. You know, who want to keep it simple.
I couldn't believe how easy it was. We answered a few basic questions, and within minutes, we had an estimate of what it would cost and what sort of policy made sense for us.
I never imagined a life insurance could be so affordable.
And accessible.
The peace of mind knowing that our future is secure, it just removes a lot of the fear around getting older and...
Yeah, the unexpected.
I'm glad we talked about it.
I'm glad we went with ethoslife.com.
Go to ethoslife.com now for your free estimate. That's ETHOSlife.com. ETHOSlife.com.
Today will be tough, but we'll be ready. Loyola Medicine's Level 1 Trauma Center is prepared for the most severe emergencies. When things are at their worst, we're at our best. Loyola Medicine. Visit loyolamedicine.org/ourbest to learn more.
WGN Radio has your ticket to a once-in-a-lifetime event. Enter for a chance to see two legendary icons together on stage for the first time. Wayne Newton and Tony Orlando, May 13th at Hard Rock Live in Northern Indiana. Visit WGNradio.com/contest.
Now back to David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200, Mega Pros call, text, and photo line. The listeners who your client and my borrowers are listening, Steve, and they say hi.
Well, hello.
So there you go. Told you.
I'm so happy they contacted you.
So am I. So glad that they are listening. So what's up, buddy? What are the three things our listeners need to know?
Well, this is what, I help business owners, right? Because business owners are the ones that get into tax trouble. If you're a W-2 employee, you don't get into tax problem. Why? Because they take your money.
Right.
You don't have to worry about it. And so most people who have tax problems are going to be business owners. And so I have a workshop for business owners every Thursday. Not next Thursday, because I'm in Mexico next Thursday. So I'm going to be enjoying the sun. But the Thursday after, go to fightbacknow.com if you're a business owner. And I'm going to tell you the 3 secrets of what you need to know to get freedom from, because everybody, you start a business, right? Why do you start a business? For freedom, right? You want the freedom to run your own business and do your own thing. And then you run into these problems. So the first secret I'm going to talk about is why the tax resolution gig is designed to make you fail. And what you need to know to overcome that. So that's the first secret I'm going to talk about. The second secret I'm going to talk about is, and this is what gets a lot of business owners in trouble, and that's record keeping, right? This is the thing that most people, as I'm sitting talking to them, tell me about. I just hate doing the records. And then this is what says to me, you have clients who haven't filed in their tax return in 5 years or more. How does that happen? And it's like, it's so simple because time goes by so quickly, right? So
I'll get to it.
It's usually about record keeping. They don't keep good records, and it's tax time. And so they say, oh man, I'm not ready. So I'm going to ask for an extension. And so they ask for an extension. And then now you got all summer. I could do it all. I'll get it all summer. Next thing you know, it's next March, right? Right. And you got to file again. And you say, man, I didn't do last year, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to file another extension. And I got to tell you, I've had people who haven't filed in 10 years, but every year they've asked for an extension. Now I'm going to tell you, the extensions don't go that far. Right? You only get till October, for personal taxes. So if you're having these problems, then I'm going to talk about that problem too and how to overcome that problem. And then the third one is the ginormous number that you owe the IRS, and this makes people, right, when you get the penalties and interest. Now we're at 7% even with the government, right? Why it escalates so high, because the IRS compounds daily, right? So that number gets very large very quickly, and it paralyzes people, right? So they're like, what, man, that number, and they just don't want to even think about it. It's like, I can't address this problem because now if I haven't filed in 5 years, that's a big number.
Sticking your head in the sand method doesn't work out.
It doesn't work but people do that because they don't know there's an answer. And here's what I'm going to tell you. There is an answer, right? You don't always have to pay what you owe. I can show you how you pay what you can.
Okay.
Right. And this is so important for people to understand, right? And how to overcome this problem that paralyzes people. And it really does. And it causes problems in marriage, and it causes it again, people can't sleep at night.
Your health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Impacts your health.
Absolutely.
So,
and most people that come to see me, right, it's been many years that they've had this problem. Now, I had one guy come this last week, and he's in his first year. I was telling him, you're ahead of the curve.
Yeah, you're a rookie.
But here's the problem with him. He doesn't see the value yet,
right?
Because he's not that deep. He hasn't gone through and experienced all these bad things that are out there for people with tax problems, like tax resolution companies and trying to deal with the IRS, which is what he's doing. And so this is what I want to tell you. He's in the first year, but he's really in the third year. Why? Because he filed an extension and then found out that he owed a ton of money. Right now, now the IRS, when do they want to get paid? Yesterday.
Right.
So he's fighting to pay them for last year. This is what we call a cascading tax problem. But he's using this year's taxes to pay last year. So now all you're doing is creating another problem. And as I told them, well, now we're in March. What have you paid for 2023? Well, nothing. Well, then next March you'll be right back here.
So how much pain is enough pain?
They don't exactly, and people don't want to hire an attorney because they think, well, the money. But you know what? When you're paying penalties and interest on all that money, so quickly, and so in the end, attorney fees are cheap, and we're not even talking about the anguish and the anxiety and the depression that comes along with it.
I've got a dominatrix joke in there, but I'll leave it. I'll leave it for later.
I have a question for Steve.
I talked about the IRS. That's the same
afternoon.
thing.
Go ahead, Dave.
Steve, if they lawyer up with you, and you've had such experience with all the IRS people, can it actually be negotiated? I know not about the filings, but the 7% or the.
Actually,
is there a chance
that's a
of
very
getting
good question. That's a very good question. The answer is not with interest. The interest is statutory.
No matter who. Johnny Cochran couldn't have got
They
it.
don't have they don't have a choice. Okay. Well, now you can abate some penalties, and if you abate some of the penalties, then the interest will come down. But here's the thing. So if I haven't filed in some years, that number is so big, it doesn't matter because you're not going to be able to pay them. I always tell people there's a number after which it doesn't matter what I owe them because I can't pay it, right? So it doesn't matter.
And they can't file bankruptcy with those, right? Or can they?
Not right away, right?
Not right away.
Some taxes you can file bankruptcy, and people don't know that. There's 6 things you could do if you owe the IRS money. One of them is do nothing. So then there's only 5 things you
have
can do.
A lot of those.
Yes, that's what they do before they come to see me, right? And then the first thing is pay them, and most people just don't have the resources to pay them. So now you're down to 3 things, and one of them is bankruptcy. And most bankruptcy attorneys will even say what you just said. Oh, you can't get rid of taxes in bankruptcy because they don't know.
Programming note: if you have Johnny Cochran as before 11 o'clock, cash your ticket. Nice reference there. John in Chicago, you have a question for Stephen A. Leahy. John.
Yes, I do.
Hi.
I sold a getaway home in Wisconsin last year, and I'm curious I sold it furnished on the advice of the realtor, and I'm interested to know whether or not that furniture can be used as an offset for capital gains. Could it be added to the basis? How would you handle it?
Well, I think I'm not going to give you specific information.
It depends.
Well, I'm not going to give specific advice over the phone, over the radio, because I'll get in trouble, right? And so it's not that I'm trying to skirt the question or anything, but they could put me in ethics violations if I start addressing specific questions so I could talk about generally.
All right, now that you covered your rear end.
No,
go ahead.
That's important.
I got it.
Generally,
I'd be happy to follow up with you after the show.
Yeah, well, you could, and I'll be happy to follow up. You can leave your number here; they'll take it, and I'll call you. But let me tell you this: generally, right? It's what your contract says, right? You can say, "Well, I'm selling you all of this furniture," right? So now that's part of the cost, right? Or I could say, I'm just going to leave the furniture there, right? So I just add it to the cost of the house. So there's a couple. Generally, it depends on how you write that contract, on how it's going to be taxed.
And on a financing side, when we do the mortgage, we can't count any of the furniture or the jet ski or the boat or the outdoor furniture or anything like that. Or the bookshelf or the speakers, Dave,
hot tub.
Or the hot tub. We can't count any of that in the value of the house.
Yep.
So when it comes to doing a mortgage, it's whoever bought your home, Johnny. You can't count that in the value when securing financing on your home. But I'll tell you what, go ahead. So you want to,
and that might be the deciding factor, right?
Yeah.
About how you're going to do it.
Right. It's all, and it's better to put it on an addendum that the lender doesn't see. I'm just making a generalized statement like you did. Johnny, hang on. We got to hit a quick break. Steve, if our listeners want to reach out to you.
Call me, 312-664-6649.
All right, Jackson picked John up for his complimentary Mr. Floor cleaning product. We've got David Schluter coming up next, 312-981-7200. What are we talking about, Dave? Tease us.
Yeah, people who just go on the internet and they get terrible advice, adding people to their deeds as an estate plan.
Hello.
Move.
And
Bad
also
move.
I want to talk to you about unpermitted improvements that we got into a little jackpot there this week of a family of 6 that has to close within 3 weeks because they sold their condo. Yeah, no pressure. We love that. 312. It's like being a colonel in the popcorn in the Jiffy Pop. Remember that, Steve? You put it on. You always burnt your hand as a little kid. I want the popcorn, and then you get the aluminum foil in your teeth, and then all the hot kernels at the bottom. But it was really cool watching it go. 312-981-7200. 312-981-7200. Cash your Jiffy Pop popcorn card too, everybody out there. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago coming back with David. All you attorneys look like David Schluter after these messages.
We're Chicago's very own WGN.
Blue Sky Restoration Contractors is a full-service national restoration, renovation, environmental, and roofing provider for properties damaged by water, fire, storms, and other disasters across the nation. With a location right here in Chicago, their engaged employees bring experience and teamwork to anyone who owns or manages property, provides property insurance, or manages property insurance claims. They offer the best around-the-clock restoration and emergency mitigation services, including commercial roofing and healthcare restoration services. For more information on Blue Sky Restoration Contractors, visit gobluesky.com. That's goblusky.com. Or call 800-956-8844. That's 800-956-8844. Blue Sky Restoration Contractors is in Chicago and here to serve you. Blue Sky provides commercial, industrial, governmental, residential, and multifamily restoration, renovation, environmental, and roofing services. Find them at goblusky.com.
Hot water is a luxury that many of us take for granted, but when your water heater fails, you quickly realize how much you rely on hot water. If your water heater is over 10 years old or making abnormal banging noises, or you notice your hot water is just not hot enough, call the pros at Center Guard Plumbing. They're a family-owned company with all their own employees and decades of experienced plumbing knowledge. Center Guard Plumbing is the local water heater expert, installing over 2,000 water heaters in the Chicagoland area every single year, and they'll beat or match any water heater quote by another licensed contractor. Center Guard Plumbing makes the estimate process so simple, too. Most of their work is quoted by you texting them pictures, saving service call fees. They'll never pressure you or upsell you for unnecessary repairs. Call Center Guard Plumbing today, 847-406-8883. No job too small. Visit WGNplumber.com. That's WGNplumber.com for Center Guard Plumbing. Expert plumbers you can trust.
You may already know Mr. Floor for the beautiful wood floors that we install, sand, and refinish. Mr. Floor is a full-service local Chicagoland company who has provided homeowners and businesses with complete flooring solutions for over 30 years. Hi, I'm Igor Marak of Mr. Floor, and born out of our extensive experience and knowledge with hardwood floors comes the best hardwood floor cleaner on the market. As we visit Chicagoland homes and businesses every day, we see the damage that incorrect floor maintenance can cause. Most people are not cleaning their hardwood floors properly, and as we all know, a bucket of water and a mop is the surest way to ruin a wood floor. Forget about those harsh chemicals and cleaning products that leave your floors hazy and lifeless. We've researched, developed, and now produce the best hardwood floor cleaner ever. Our cleaner breaks the bonds of dirt and grease from your floor's coating without harming it. It's also eco and pet friendly too. Thousands of Mr. Floor clients have been using our cleaners for years, and now you can too. Visit us online at MrFloor.com to learn more and place your order. Use promo code WGN at checkout for a special offer. Mr. Floor, the first and last name in floors.
Home Sweet Home Chicago.
Jose, go. Thank you for calling, buddy.
How you doing, guys? 2 quick questions. I like the show.
I like you. No, well, you should have started with that, and then we would have spent more time with you. Gene in Arlington Heights, question.
Hi, David. I like you, and I like your show.
See, that's how you do it.
Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200. Tim, you want some smelling salts? You okay? You over there?
No, I'm good.
You're fine? Yes. So I promise we will bring you on. Okay, Stevens is sitting there going, what the hell? Is he not going to talk? I got him a special seat on today's show. Steve Stevens, retired police chief, Buffalo Grove, working for Huso Bio.
I met him.
I know you did. He said he doesn't remember meeting you. It was very
that's
memorable.
Okay.
312-981-72.
He's not the chief anymore.
I
so
know.
I'm not
I
so,
know.
I'm not so concerned.
I understand. Still a good guy.
No, I understand, but
312-981-7200. All right, we were talking about a challenge that I have with undisclosed permits that were done on a home that we put the loan through underwriting, got it approved. Appraisal came back. I get a call from the realtor, kill the deal. We need another letter. We found all of these unpermitted jobs that were done. Now that the city had no record, the owner had no record, and the contractor had no record of a permit. Squash the transaction. They're going back for damages, right? And all they want is the time and the effort for the home inspector and the appraiser, right? Because that's $1,000 right there. So we'll talk about that in more detail. But we have Rita in Bloomingdale with a similar challenge that she found mold that wasn't disclosed. Rita, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. You guys have a great show. I closed on a condo in May of 2022 and wasn't able to move in until November. I had patio doors that needed to be replaced on the balcony, which I knew I was going to have to do, and because there was a leak. So when my contractor was working on the walls, he found mold around the patio doors, but it turned out that the mold was through my entire ceilings in my condo. So 4 months later, I finally was able to move in, but I had to replace all of my ceilings, all of the trim. It was just a nightmare. So my realtor lawyer told me that he could send a letter to the previous owner, but he didn't think much would happen, and he was right. So pretty much the previous owner just said he didn't know what I was talking about. And there were signs once my contractor started, cleaning up the mess that things were repaired. My inspector originally missed as well. And I just, it cost me a lot of money, and I don't know if I should pursue it, if it's going to just end up costing me more money and I'm not going to get anything out of it anyway. But it was a nightmare.
2 minutes before the break, Dave.
No problem. Sorry about that. That is the standard line that sellers give. And only because in court...
I knew nothing. I didn't know about that.
Right. But in court, it is hard to prove what someone knew. And that's when your real estate lawyer said that, even if you're right 100%, that to get someone where you prove it. A case I had years ago, the neighbor brought a key over 2 days after the closing, and they go, "Why did you have a key? We're just curious." Well, we used to shop back the basement when they would go to Wisconsin on weekends. So you have a smoking gun, and I got a $17,000 judgment, and,
nice.
And it all worked out because they had to pull the deck off the back of the house. You can't even believe it. Anyway, so your lawyer was doing you a service, but here's the issue. You've got a time issue on this. If you really are mad and you really want to invest the money, no lawyer will take it on a contingency, unfortunately, meaning that they'll get paid for whatever you get them to pay. If you're mad enough and you want to spend the money, I am concerned with that May date because the disclosure lying law, let's just call it that in layman's terms, is 1 year from the day you got the disclosure. So you definitely want to look that up. And if you want to call me next week, depending how mad you are, what was the overall ticket without stalking you? What did it cost you out of your pocket to fix everything?
With having to not live here too, I would say at least $25,000.
Okay.
Hello.
And the thing is I talked to one of my neighbors, and he said the same thing had happened to him because the ductwork was not installed right in the ceiling.
And that's a whole different thing, but we still got to get that knowledge into the seller's head. And also, one other thing about Illinois law, and Steve's going to back me up, if you win the case, all the judge says is you win. It's not like a car accident with insurance or child support where the court can force the hand to get you paid. So another reason your real estate lawyer said maybe not bother is Illinois is very liberal towards deadbeats. So you'll get a piece of paper saying you win $25,000, but then you have a whole nother round of attorney's fees to try to collect it, which is against their wages, their car, whatever. So checked out the date timing on it. I can give you a couple names on Monday of friends you could interview, but my number is 630-285-5300. Take a look at that disclosure form when you signed off on it in your real estate contract, and then call me either way Monday or Tuesday because I do care about what's going on.
All right, Rita, we got to hit a break here, my friend. Are you happy?
Yeah.
All right, you want a hug?
A hug with $25,000, maybe.
All right, let's not go crazy. How about a hug with the Mr. Floor cleaning product?
Oh, I'll take that.
All right, hang on for the Mr. Floor cleaning product. Your choice. I was going to send Leahy over before we murder him. 312-981.
I told you I have a good attorney for you.
Well, I'm going to need one because it's not like we haven't been talking about it on the radio.
I better tell you first.
You tell me, right? Write it down so I have it. 312-981-7200. Teresa's like, stop saying you're going to murder Steve. 312-981-7200.
Stand in line.
Line 3, Teresa Lee. 312-981-7200. 312-981-7200 is a Mega Pros call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGN.
Enjoy the freedom to access every part of your home safely with a residential elevator from the pros at Access. Access are the leaders in ADA general contracting since 1990 and a company I recommend to listeners quite often. An investment in a residential elevator will ensure mobility and independence for the future. From the reliable, smooth, quiet performance to the high-end luxury look to the extensive, affordable design capabilities, it's truly amazing how far home elevator technology has come. And the pros at Access are the award-winning problem-solving mobility experts that you can trust to assess what elevator is right for you. They'll design and install your personal home elevator based on your needs, style, and budget. Their personal, caring, friendly service team covers all of Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. To schedule a free in-home residential elevator assessment, call 844-IL-LIFTS. That's 844-IL-LIFTS. See, feel, and test drive a residential elevator at their showroom in Roselle. Visit allaboutaccess.com.
You got old drafty windows and doors at your home. That's no fun. It's too cold in the winter. It's too hot in the summer. A lot of WGN radio listeners have done what Brenda and I have done. We called Next Door and Window. Next Door and Window. Right now, I just think this is such a good deal. You hear these deals, but listen to this one. Buy one window, get one 40% off. Call 844-600-NEXT. Schedule a free consultation. Next Door and Window. They install beautiful, energy-efficient Marvin fiberglass windows and doors made from Ultrex fiberglass, 8 times stronger than vinyl. This is a no-pressure approach. They come in, they educate you, they consult. They say, what's your style? What's your fashion? What's your budget? It's so nice to invite someone into your home and you don't feel like you're under the gun. Especially when you buy one, you get one 40% off. Call 844-600-NEXT or visit 1-800-NEXTDOOR.com. Next Door and Window, serving local homeowners for over 20 years.
To most, it's just another sidewalk or parking lot. But to Andreas & Sons, it's a work of art, perfectly paved with precise attention to detail. Andreas Construction is a third-generation family-owned concrete construction and asphalt company. Based in Cicero, they proudly serve commercial, industrial, and residential customers across the Chicagoland area. No job is too small. So if your project requires concrete or asphalt, you need to contact the pros. Andreas & Sons has the expertise and experience to handle any job. Patios, stairs, foundations, driveways, loading docks, warehouse floors. Andreas & Sons does it all. Andreas unites over 60 years of professional expertise with the latest equipment and technology. For your free estimate, call 708-863-5735, 708-863-5735, or visit andreasconstruction.com. Be sure to ask about their neighborhood discounts and special financing too. Andreas & Sons Concrete Construction, providing high-quality professional concrete and asphalt solutions since 1959.
Yawns on the 2s, slurping tea on the 7s, and complaining about a lack of sleep on the 9s. No wonder more people are listening to us in the morning. Bob Surratt on smart devices everywhere and 720.
WGN Chicago.
A Nexstar Media Group station.
34 degrees with some light snow and rain mix out there at 11:01. Good morning. I'm Don Klepp, and the news is sponsored by VictoryAutoWreckers.com. A batch of new bills passed the Illinois House of Representatives this week. What laws could change and when after this?
Top 4 seeds will miss the Elite 8 for the first time since 1979.
And that weather is affecting traffic. Delays are building, mostly on the Edens and Kennedy, where we also have those lane restrictions from the long-term work that started this week. It's 25 minutes on the Edens from Lake Cook to the Kennedy, and 45 on the Kennedy in from O'Hare to the Byrne interchange, 26 from Montrose. The express lanes inbound can save you about 12 or 13 minutes. Those slow down from Montrose to Diversey and then Armitage to the feeder ramps. Eisenhower's about 25 in from 390 downtown. Outbound it's 27. The exit outbound to Lake is closed for construction until Monday morning at 5. Outbound Dan Ryan approaching 91st. A crash blocks the right lane there. And DuSable Drive southbound brake lights from Lawrence to Montrose because of a crash. It's also solid from 53rd to 57th down to one lane through there with road construction. We also have street closures in and around Grand Park, including Columbus and Balbo and Ida B. Wells. That's all for the Shamrock Shuffle setup, which is tomorrow morning at 8:30. One woman speaking out this morning about her terrifying experience after a car plowed into a restaurant in Crystal Lake. Dana Zaitz and her husband Mike went to Buffalo Wings and Rings for an early dinner Thursday night. The hostess was about to seat them when a car that was parking jumped a curb and drove into the building. Dana says her husband of 22 years saved her life while nearly sacrificing his own.
I felt the shove. He shoved me out of the way, and so I did a skip. And so he pushed me, and I turned around, and he wasn't there. I almost lost my best friend, and I didn't. Praise God.
Mike was pinned under the car. He was one of 4 people hospitalized after the crash, suffering the most severe injuries with a broken leg. The musician's expected to be hospitalized for several days, but his recovery is expected to take months. A GoFundMe has been set up to raise money for his medical expenses. House lawmakers passed a slew of bills this week, ranging from legislation that would allow businesses and universities to make multi-occupancy bathrooms open to all genders, to making the soybean the official state bean. There's also a bill requiring districts to provide full-day kindergarten, supported by Will Davis of Homewood.
Full-day kindergarten has to be the next iteration of what we are doing to make sure our kids are prepared for the global society, for what's to come in their lives.
Legislation that would make parents split a pregnancy 50-50, including abortion and medical costs, now heads to the Senate as well. Top U.S. military officials yesterday told lawmakers in Washington they need a bigger defense budget to keep the U.S. safe.
It is significant. We're talking about a 3.2% increase, and if 3.2% doesn't sound like a lot, that amounts to about $26 billion more than what we had in the military spending the previous year, totaling what they're proposing about $842 billion.
That was News Nation's Joe Khalil. Back locally, tickets for Illinois State Fair grandstand concerts will go on sale next week, March 31st. Sales begin Friday at 10 a.m. on Ticketmaster for shows like Old Dominion, REO Speedwagon, Alter Bridge, and Marine Morris. State Fair spokesperson Krista Lisser.
We do still have some more acts that we will be announcing in the near future, so stay tuned and keep an eye on our social media pages and keep an ear out on the radio stations that you listen to, and you'll find out soon.
Additional concerts will be announced at a later date. The fair runs August 10th through the 20th. And the White Sox will have a new menu at Guaranteed Rate Field this spring. There's everything from skewers to corn dogs, a whole helmet of chicken, also a hot dog with toppings bathed in beer, either Miller High Life or Blue Moon. Executive Chef Ryan Craig says they wanted to take the concept of ballpark food up a notch this year.
This is my favorite time of the year. I just want to say, getting ready for opening day, the buzz around the ballpark, bringing it all back is great. But the months leading up to this is probably even more fun. All the chefs were in the kitchen. We're coming up with what we're going to do for the year.
And WGN Sports Times 11:05.
Every number one seed is out at the NCAA tournament. The topsy-turvy nature of this year's big dance continued last night. And for the first time since seeding began in 1979, there will not be a number one seed in the Elite Eight. Number one overall seed Alabama out after a 71-64 loss to San Diego State. Aztecs reaching the Elite Eight for the first time in program history. Miami out of the Elite Eight for the third straight year. The Hurricanes knocking off number one Houston 89-75. Creighton over Princeton 86-75. Blue Jays headed their first Elite Eight since 1941. Texas over Xavier 83-71. Today it'll be number 9 Florida Atlantic taking on number 3 Kansas State, and also 4-seeded UConn and number 3 Gonzaga. Live coverage of that game at 7:45 tonight right here on WGN and WGNradio.com. Bulls face the Lakers tomorrow in Los Angeles with 9 regular season games left. Bulls holding on to the 10th and final playoff spot of the Eastern Conference. Bulls blowing out Portland last night 124-96. Hawks visit the Wild later this afternoon. An early puck drop at the pregame and Joe Brand at 3:30. Face off at 4 with John Weideman and Troy Murray here on WGN. Hawks have signed forward Paul Ludwinski to a 3-year entry-level contract. Ludwinski was the Hawks' second-round pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. Exhibition baseball today with spring training winding down. The Cubs face the Angels in Tempe, and it'll be the White Sox and the Reds later tonight in Goodyear. I'm Andy Mazer, WGN Sports.
We've got some precipitation this morning, and in north and northwest Chicagoland, it's falling in the form of some snow, which could be heavy at times with some accumulations, especially close to the Wisconsin state line or closer to the lake. Those areas are under a winter storm warning until 1 p.m. Elsewhere, we're looking at some morning rain that turns into some snow as we get a little later into the late morning hours. We'll see gusty northwesterly winds, 35 miles an hour. High temperature today around 38. Tonight, mostly cloudy and not quite as cold. Overnight low near 30 with much less wind. We'll see 20s in outlying areas. And for tomorrow, partly cloudy and milder with high temperature near 47. Will be a little bit cooler near the lake with a high there around 40 degrees. From the WGN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Tim Joyce.
Light snow is reported at Midway, Aurora, Lansing, and some downtown here in Chicago's Loop. Some drizzle now at O'Hare. 34 there at O'Hare, 36 at Midway. It's 36 in Northbrook, 33 in Aurora, and 35 downtown along the lakefront. Lots of heavy fog out there reported around Chicagoland. Wind chill indices are in the mid to upper 20s. I'm Don Kleppen on Chicago's very own 720 WGN and WGNradio.com.
Thanks, Donnie. 312-981-7200. It's a Mega Pros call, text, and photo line. More with David Schluter, and Kari Kohler's calling in to answer a listener's email question that we received earlier this week. We'll be right back.
Luck is on your side at Joe Cotton Ford. Time to grab some gold savings. 0 APR financing on new Fords. Buy a new 2022 Ford Escape for just $28,490. How lucky is that? Need a great new truck? The end of the rainbow is the start of your great new truck deal at Joe Cotton Ford. Purchase a brand new Ford F-150 and get $500 in parts and accessories. And talk about luck being on your side. Every new Ford truck is on sale. XLs, XLTs, Lariats, Limiteds, Platinums, and the STX are all in stock now. Plus, Joe Cotton's appraisers are handing out the gold with top trade offers. 0 financing on new Fords, new 2022 Ford Escapes, $28,490, and new F-150s come with $500 in parts and accessories. Grab some gold savings today at Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream or at JoeCottonFord.com.
Plus, tax, title, license, and not paid with approved credit on select models in lieu of Ford rebates and incentives. See dealer for details.
This is David Hochberg, and waiting until the spring to list your home is a bad move. We are in the middle of an inventory shortage, and now, not the spring, not tomorrow, now is the best time to sell your home. The need for more room, outdoor space, and access to schools are some of the leading factors for buyers of new homes. And the reason waiting to sell your home is a bad move. That is why you need to work with experienced realtor Kari Kohler of the Kohler Group if you are purchasing or selling a home in the western suburbs. Kari and her experienced team will learn about your housing needs and locate a home that meets both your family's needs and budget. Listeners are always moving, which means listeners are always buying and selling homes. You need the right team to make sure the process goes smoothly and meets your family's needs. That's why you need to call Kari Kohler at 630-587-4700 or visit thekohlergroup.com. That's 630-587-4700 or visit thekohlergroup.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Sherlock Holmes, we have a new mystery. My dear Watson, what conundrum requires our sleuthing? It's these high gas prices, Sherlock. How do I stop paying too much at the pump? Elementary, Watson. Simply use the cashback app, Upside. The Upside app has eluded my attention. Oh, come now, Watson. Upside is the revolutionary app that's free to download, and you get real cashback for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200. So you can really make cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway. Precisely, my dear Watson. I have the app open now. Look, there's a gas station not far from here offering 25 cents per gallon cash back. Sherlock, you've done it again. I will now use the Upside app and earn cash back on every gallon of gas I buy.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WATSON to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WATSON for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WATSON for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This episode of Home Sweet Home Chicago is sponsored by David Hochberg and MegaPros Home Improvement and Restoration, Tim Reifstack from Huso Bio, Stephen A. Leahy from OPEM Tax Advocates, and the law offices of David Schluter. For additional sponsors of the Home Sweet Home program, please visit WGNradio.com/Home Sweet Home Chicago. Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200, MegaPros call, text, and phone line. Before we hit David Schluter up to talk about the other topics on
Can I say something, Dave?
schedule.
I just did, but
you just
I
did.
love when I hear my name on the radio like that. Stephen A. Lee. I like that.
That's good, Steve. We just,
just thought I'd tell you that.
bring the show to a screeching halt to let everybody know what to express your feelings.
Here I am. I can't do it next
Your
week.
psychiatrist is definitely you're getting your money's worth. You're expressing your feelings That's great. Maybe we should talk about paying for gas on the way down. I mean,
what are you, crazy?
Maybe reaching into your pocket after 8 years.
I think Mike Shrink would say, "You're crazy."
Give me a tank full. I figure it's at least a tank. Okay, we've got Kari Kohler, the Kohler Group. How are you, Kari?
I'm fantastic, David. How are you doing?
Great. How did you like that breaking news from Stephen A. Leahy right now that he likes to hear his name on the radio? Does that just completely make your day?
I have learned in real estate, everybody likes to hear their name, so I understand where he's coming from.
Oh, that's great. All right, there you go, Stephen A. Leahy.
Kari Kohler.
Kari.
Nice.
Well, just stay in your lane. I got this. Right. We got an email earlier in the week here, Kari, that I sent to you and said, can you call in and answer it on the show? Because I think it's very interesting, David. It relates to real estate. Question is, I am planning on retiring at the end of the year. I live in St. Charles, which is in Kari's wheelhouse. That's in her area for the show. My wife and I will be moving to Tennessee. Seems to be a popular destination that Steve and I talked about walking over here this morning. Would you recommend putting the home on the market now or wait until October or November? I'm like, well, I am not qualified to answer that question. So let's call Kari because it's in her area of the show. A fellow member of yours, you live in St. Charles area, is looking to move to Tennessee by the end of the year, wants to know if they should put the house on the market now or wait till October, November. What's your thoughts?
Excellent question, and congratulations to the listener for their retirement and moving to a beautiful state. My recommendation would be that they sell now. As compared to this very same time last year, supply is down 16%, market time is down over 12%, and sale price is up nearly 3%. If getting the most amount of money and doing it in an efficient manner is most important to the seller, they should do it now. There are two things that they could do right off the bat. They could sell and they could structure a deal to rent back from the buyer until they're moving to Tennessee, or they could close, do a little bit longer close time than normal, and then move into a rental. The advantages this gives to the seller that's moving to Tennessee is they can make the most amount of money, they can do it quickly, and they can have their money in the bank to make really good decisions when they go to Tennessee, and they can make their purchase leisurely and know what their financial situation is.
Phone number if our listeners want to reach out. I know you're going to follow up with this listener who emailed, but if other listeners out there have similar questions, what's the best way to reach you?
630-587-4700 or at our website at thekohlergroup.com. And I sure appreciate the opportunity to answer this listener's question.
Of course, hang on for your Mr. Floor cleaning product because everybody that calls gets one. All right, Kari, we don't want you to feel slighted or left
and I
out.
love that product.
As
you know, I talk about it on air. I love that product.
That's why
Thank
we're gonna give you a complimentary bottle. You want to give it a second shot at getting her name right? Kari,
sure.
Hang on. I cut your mic off because you embarrassed yourself. Go ahead.
I did embarrass myself, and because I was looking at her name here on the screen, and it looked. I'm not a good speller.
I know. Kari. Say it. Okay. Kari Kohler, the Kohler Group. Thank you, Kari. Hang on for your Mr. Floor cleaning product, Dave. After the break, we're going to take a quick break. What do you want to cover after the break?
How not to use adding family members to your deed as an estate planning device.
And let's wake Tim up here. Tim, what are we talking about your company? You remove bodies that have expired, dead bodies from homes, either through natural causes, murder, suicide, which happens. Yep. And there are bodily fluids and there are things that are left that need to be cleaned up, not with shop vac, but biohazard.
It's a very specialized service.
Yes.
So coming in with proper equipment along with chemicals, and then how the guys approach the cleanup, because every cleanup's different, doesn't matter. So how they approach that, setting the protocol and procedures is vitally important.
We're going to be talking about that. We've never talked about that on the show. So I think it's fascinating. And we're going to talk about it after the break. First, Dave Schluter, then Tim Reifsteck. How'd I do?
That's good enough.
Oh, God. What is it?
Reifsteck.
Let's not get so critical here, Tim. I got the Tim right.
I was close. Kari.
Yeah, Kari. All right, I stick. Touche. 312 312-981-7200. Well played there, Stephen A. Lee. 312-981-7200. Coming back with David Schluter and Tim Reistek. All right. After these messages, you got it right.
Chicago's very own WGN.
Okay, I don't know about you, but I totally became an online shopper during the pandemic. Groceries, clothing, gifts, even big ticket items. I love researching a vacation spot or my next car, even a new kitchen or bathroom. And now, Builder's Supply Outlet offers you the ability to shop their quality products from the comfort of your couch. Browse ideas to renovate your kitchen or bath, upgrade your indoor or exterior doors, or check out the latest colors in quartz countertops and luxury vinyl floors. Get inspired, place your order online, and pick it up when it's ready. This site is a great resource full of advice and remodeling tips that'll save you time, money, and aggravation. Learn the differences between particle board and fiberboard or plywood and hardwood. What to consider when designing the perfect island, selecting a backsplash or kitchen countertops. Get online and see how easy it is to shop, place your order, and pick it up when it's ready. Quality and savings are really what you get at Builder's Supply Outlet. Now available at builderssupplyoutlet.com too.
Enlarged the bathroom for me, which entailed them knocking out a wall. There was actually an entertainment center on the opposite side that I no longer needed. I had a half bath, which was really tiny. Like you had to be a small person to be able to fit into it. So they enlarged that bathroom.
We are talking today with mega customer Joanne Gard of Lake in the Hills.
Also did new countertops, new backsplash, new sink, faucet. I arranged with them contractor that came in that painted my cabinet. They did have to do some woodwork, like on my island and on the sides of the cabinet, and they did an excellent job on that. My bathroom is just amazing. Really happy with how everything turned out.
One mega call does it all.
847-658-8989.
847-658-8989.
Megapros.com.
One mega call does it all.
Don't wait for an invasion to happen. Think proactively. Get a pest prevention program from Rose Pest Solutions that will literally keep dozens of pests like ants, spiders, wasps, and stink bugs out before they have a chance to get into your home or business. Rose's program even covers mice and rats. Look, if you've dealt with any of these creatures on your property in the past, you know they can cause damage, tons of frustration, and even health risks too. For a free quote, call 1-800-GOT-PESTS or visit rosepestcontrol.com.
Hi, I'm David Haas from Miracle Method. We make bathing safer with the easy step, converting any tub into a walk-in shower. We cut an opening into your existing tub, allowing easier entry and exit for you, your parents, or even your grandparents. It's even reversible. We can reinstall the piece we cut out and refinish it to look like new. And maybe the best part, it takes just 1 day to install. Right now, we're giving one lucky listener an easy step bathtub makeover. Enter to win at WGNradio.com/contests.
It's a show about food, fashion, and some fun. Daytime Chicago with Tanya Francisco and Amy Rutledge. Weekday mornings at 10 on WGN TV.
Home Sweet Home Chicago.
Thank you to Douglas Wilson, Anita Goldberg, Susan Vandervoot, Janet Gooderham.
How many did you pronounce right?
I don't know.
I just hope that Mr. Goldenheim isn't saying that's not my name.
Gooderham. How would you pronounce it? Gooderhammer.
Gooderhammer.
Well, how else can you pronounce that?
Could you please call in Mr. Gooderham?
I just keep going. It's all in the presentation, Joe.
Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200. David Schluter. Let's talk about unpermitted improvements and how that impacts a real estate transaction.
The seller under our current contract is making a representation that every improvement that was not just replacing existing, that's a term of art. Replacing existing is changing the countertop to a new countertop, changing the water heater. But if people add bathrooms, add walls, take down walls, do gazebos or whatever, you need to get a permit. And a contract who tells you, oh, no, that's too expensive. In your case, who knows why they did it without a permit, but it's a liability. And in your deal, it rose to the point where the deal was killed. And the people, they cheaped out on the front and ended up paying for it by now having an unmarketable home.
Forest Park sends out an inspector.
Of course they do.
Forest, it's one of the few area towns that sends an actual inspector out before you sell the house to make sure you didn't do any unpermitted.
Right. They won't bring up the countertop, but they're going to bring up that new bathroom with
or
a
the
full
shed.
shower, the shed, a gazebo, whatever. And again, it is intrusive, but they have every right to do it because, number one, the assessor needs to know about it so they can raise the taxes. If you turn it into a 3-bathroom house instead of a 2, your taxes are supposed to go up. So the permit department copies the assessor in Cook County.
There you go. What else did you want to talk about? Putting names on deeds?
Yeah, well, with the internet, and Steve probably can chime in, the internet has caused people to believe that because it's on the web, it's got to be true, even illegal. They'll just put in, can I do this? Can I do that? And probably about once a month, I have people who only want to do an estate plan, which will cause a disaster for their kids, which is they don't want to pay for an estate plan or a transfer on death or a land trust. They want to add Johnny on the deed, thinking that, well, then we won't need a lawyer. Mom will go to heaven and Johnny will own the house.
Well, you're assuming mom's going to go to heaven.
Yeah. So, well, the problem is, I always say it that way to be nice.
I understand.
Now, when that happens and mom does go and then he calls the realtor, the problem is he goes back to the price that mom paid back in the day.
Exactly.
And that's brutal. I had a guy who owed 70 G's because it was an old Elk Grove house. They paid $38,500 in 1964, and it went for $350. And I said, well, make sure to call an accountant now and during this quarter because it doesn't wait till April for your capital gains. He goes, what do you mean? I go, you owe 70 G's. Well, wait a minute. Your mom chose to do I Want to Be Lawyer disc program, type a deed, go up to Rolling Meadows and record it. And she didn't come to me or any other lawyer who would have said, please don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, they think it's saving money, but there are reasons. It's not just because there's 2 lawyers here today. If we start getting texts, oh, he's just defending his practice. Yes, I am, because I've been doing it 37 years and I have saved millions of dollars, I would suspect, by having people do either a living trust, a land trust. You want the family members in the next generation to not own anything until your last breath. They get stepped up basis. And what that means is they get the home at the value it is now. So with the appreciation we've had in the Chicago area over decades, you maybe paid $100, it sells for $4. Their starting point is the higher value tax-free.
I just want to say for tax-free, this is so important, what you just mentioned. And both of those things you were just talking about are people trying to save money. It's pennies up front. I mean, it's not really a big... It's not a big expense.
No, they think lawyers are just out to take money for no reason. I still wake up in the morning glad what I do for now. And the issue is that it's a great service to call a real estate attorney or an estate planning attorney, or in my case, you get both. But please don't go and record, because the recorder's office will not turn you away. If Francis Jones is adding Tom Jones, they're not going to say you shouldn't do that. They're going to record the document. I've actually intercepted some of them, Steve, where I've reversed it before they went on the market. And boy, was I the hero. In other words, Tommy comes off, then we call Century 21 or whatever. Yeah. Because death's 100%. We're going to talk about that with Tim. So, yeah, I just want you to know, please don't cheap out. I'm not just saying it to help the profession. I'm trying to save your next generation tons of money.
What if you did we got a text here, 3131. What if you did the improvements yourself without a contractor? Do you still need a permit?
Yes, because it's the work in question, not who did the work. Think about it, something that the county would want to know about that was enhancing the value. That's the dirty secret about why they actually require, other than safety. But with the advent of Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, you can get anything. You can get green board studs. You can get the sewer pit, the pump. People basically add features because they are handy, or they got a brother-in-law who does it as a side job or whatever. But what drives it is ultimately county revenue. They want to increase the tax bill to include those improvements.
Could you talk about working backwards for unpermitted improvements? What does one do, Wayne and Oak Lawn, with the text?
Hi, Wayne. Yeah, well, I mean, if you're not selling for a while, you've got time to straighten it out. I don't know if you did them yourself, but, they do have nominal fines. There was one, not to give you a grabber, but there was one that I heard about from a lawyer buddy of mine where they tore out the finished basement. They said, nope, no dice. Well, because they used Romex instead of, they just cheaped out on the wiring. It was stuff that could burn the house down in that case. So they tore it out. And that was, by the way, done when a house didn't sell, like yours, David. And then in order to go back on the market, they had to call the town and they did make him tear it out. It was brutal. But that is the ultimate thing they can do, mainly because they say that a person who does the Rube Goldberg job, it could cause their house to burn and maybe a neighbor's. Electrical is one of the huge ones, by the way.
Leave off the Goldbergs. My God, it's Passover coming up, and the Goldbergs are very sensitive. Elaine and Elgin, you've got a question for Dave about a deed.
Yes. I put my son's name on the deed at the recorder's office, and I heard you. And should I go take it off, and why?
Well, what you want to do is not just do that. That is the first step, but please hire an estate planning attorney. I can definitely represent you, but that's later. They'll give you the number, but I don't really, just use somebody who knows what they're doing. Once you get them off, you're going to do a new deed into a land trust, a personal trust, or you can do with your lawyer a transfer on death. Your son will still get the home tax-free at the new value, and it's just please hire an attorney. If you want to call me, there people will give you the number. I do know a great firm out in Elgin if it would make it easier for your travel, but they'll know exactly what you need to do. But you let them do both steps. They're going to do basically a deed from you and your son back into your estate plan. So you don't need to do two deeds. You can just do a new deed, mom and son, to your estate plan.
Thanks, Elaine. And hang out for your Mr. Floor cleaning product. For listeners who want to reach out to you, how do they reach out to you?
630-285-5300. Always a free consultation. And I also have some videos on this subject on YouTube. Dave Schluter at That's What Dave Said. There's one right on point.
Tim Reichsteck.
Gosh.
Tim from Huso Bio. You give us you got a minute and a half before the break, a minute before the break. Give us an intro into your company in 1 minute, and then we'll pick you up on the other side of the break.
Okay. So my company is a specialized company in that we are a biohazard remediation company. So we come into homes or businesses after a traumatic situation, such as a homicide, a suicide, or an unattended death, and we perform that cleanup. We'll take the house or business back to its original condition. Many times we're also part of the first step of healing for families, especially when these situations occur in a home where they can get back to their normal life as soon as possible.
We have a question here about please have listeners, and you'll pick this up on the other side of the break. Please have listeners, let listeners understand that they need to have their attorneys review any biohazard cleanup contract because they will be emotionally distraught and need to know what in those contracts. I mean, it's good advice. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're walking into a situation that you didn't expect, the death of somebody, and you got the emotions flying around like electrons and neutrons. Not that I know anything about that because I didn't take that chemistry or anything like that in biology in high school or college.
It's actually chemistry.
Is it chemistry? That's why. Exactly my point. 312-981-720. What are you laughing at? You didn't know it either.
I was in honors.
You're
chemistry.
Like geography, and that's got nothing to do with electrons and neutrons. So we're going to come back with more from Tim from Huso Bio. I'm not even going to touch your last name anymore. 312-981-7200. We're going to talk about who cleans up, why you need a special company to come in, and we're going to go over all that after Donnie's news, traffic, and weather. 312-981-7200. 312-981-7200. That's a MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGN.
With the local resources of Channel 9 and the national resources of cable news network News Nation, this is WGN Radio, on air and online.
Thank you, David. It's 35 degrees with some snow flurries and fog out there at 11:31. Good morning. I'm Don Kleppen. The news is sponsored by BuilderSupplyOutlet.com. An Illinois playground was named among the very best in the U.S., where you can take your kids to play on a nicer day coming up. In sports, the NCAA tournament continues today with finals in the East and West regionals. You can hear live coverage of Gonzaga against Connecticut at 7:45 right here on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. Ahead of that, it's Kansas State against Florida Atlantic. And ahead of that, it's the Blackhawks in Minnesota facing the Wild today. Joe Brand's pregame at 3:30. Puck drops at 4 o'clock. John Weideman and Troy Murray have the call here on 720 and WGNradio.com as well. Desert baseball today. Cubs and Angels and White Sox and Reds. And the Chicago Fire are in Miami in some Major League Soccer action. WGN traffic delays on the interstates. The Edens inbound at Dempster. That exit ramp to Dempster is closed by a rollover accident. Half an hour to get from Lake Cook to the Kennedy. Outbound is clear. On the Kennedy, it's 40 minutes now from O'Hare downtown, 25 from the Edens. The express lanes can save you 10 minutes inbound. Outbound, it's half an hour back to the airport. Eisenhower is about 30 minutes each way between 390 and downtown. Stevenson inbound at Route 83. A crash just popped up on the entrance ramp from Route 83. It went into the ditch off the right side of the ramp. And southbound DuSable Drive at Montrose, a crash was just cleared away. Heavy delays remain on the drive southbound from 53rd to 57th. It's down to one lane through there due to construction. A man charged with murdering an Austin woman outside her home last month is set to appear in court today. 23-year-old Basir Muhammad also faces assault and weapons charges. Police say Muhammad shot Tracy Allen Showers as she was getting out of her car in the 5500 block of West Lemoyne, February 28th. The 55-year-old had parked her car after picking up her daughter from work when she was shot. Police took Muhammad into custody Thursday at 73rd and Kenwood. Amtrak is dealing with nationwide delays and cancellations due to server issues. It's been going on since yesterday. Several lines were delayed in Chicago, including the St. Louis-bound Lincoln route and the Hiawatha train heading to Milwaukee. Amtrak's encouraging travelers to change their reservations using the app. Venus has been very bright in the western sky, the brightest of every star or planet during the first part of last night. Over this weekend, it's going to be part of an astronomical alignment with the moon and another planet. The two-night event starts tonight with the crescent moon appearing above Venus and topped off by Mars high in the western sky. Then on tomorrow evening, March 26th, the moon will split those two planets. With less than a week until opening day, even though it might not look like it outside, at Wrigley Field, fans can now purchase some new food options. You can get small burgers in the bleachers with a crispy chicken bao bun and Greek loaded fries. Other items include a burger brat, crispy chicken torta, and quesabira. To wash it all down, 26-ounce beer brats. And a playground in Downers Grove was just named one of the most inclusive school playgrounds in the U.S. Owens Playground for Kids of All Abilities at Hillcrest Elementary School came in third in the top 10 list. It was compiled by a school and healthcare staffing company. Several factors were considered, like inclusive design. The idea behind the playground came from an 8th grade student whose brother struggled with mobility issues from cerebral palsy. The forecast from the WGN Weather Center, heavy snow at times today and some rain mixing in with that. Wind gusts up to 35 miles an hour as well. The high is 38 officially today. Tonight, mostly cloudy, not as cold or windy. The low is 30. Gusts of wind only getting up to about 10 miles an hour. Partly cloudy tomorrow and milder on Sunday, except by the lake. High is 47 to end the weekend, and the extended outlook shows a rainy, snowy mix on Monday with highs near 40. Right now, 35 at O'Hare, 36 at Midway, 35 in Northbrook, and 35 downtown along the lakefront with some drizzle and light snow mixing out there and some fog impacting visibility on the roads. Wind chill indices are in the mid-20s. I'm Don Kleppen on Chicago's very own 720 WGN and WGNradio.com.
BMO Harris is a proud sponsor of the Home Sweet Home Chicago radio program. If you, like many other homeowners right now, are considering a home renovation project, contact BMO Harris Bank to learn more about how they can help you finance your project. For more information, visit them at bmoharris.com/homesweethome. That's bmoharris.com/homesweethome. Or just click their link on the WGN Home Sweet Home Chicago program page.
Hi, it's Lou Manfredini. There are few rites of spring more satisfying than the annual deep clean. This spring cleaning tip is sponsored by Lindemann Chimney Heating and Cooling. Properly cleaning and sweeping ash from the firebox in your fireplace is safe and important for proper operation. But what do you do with all that ash? Well, did you know it contains calcium, potassium, and magnesium? How about you sprinkle it onto your lawn and garden? It's also high in pH, meaning that if you have soils that are acidic, you can add the ash as a way to neutralize the pH. Just sprinkle it on your lawn to give it a little alkaline boost. And now this. Springtime is the best time for your annual chimney cleaning and inspection. Now that the burning season's over, hire Lindemann Chimney Heating and Cooling to clean out your dirty, smelly fireplace. And while they're there, they can check the masonry to make sure that you keep the spring rains out. Go to cleanfireplace.com. That's cleanfireplace.com for Lindemann Chimney Heating and Cooling.
If I ever needed to sell my home, there's only one person I would trust with that task, and that is Sarah Leonard of the Sarah Leonard team, RE/MAX Suburban. If you want your home listed, you just go ahead, call any agent. If you want your home sold, you need to call Sarah Leonard. You can see she is a natural-born salesperson, but more than that, she's about solving problems and helping out her customers. Call Sarah now at 224-239-3966 or visit sarahleonardsells.com.
At Ethos Life, we busted all the myths about getting life insurance. Like myth number 1.
Life insurance? I can't afford that.
At Ethos, we have term life policies everyone can afford, with policies as low as $7 a month. Or myth number 2.
I have a life insurance policy through work. That's good enough.
With workplace coverage usually only equal to a year's salary, that won't nearly be enough to cover your family's ongoing and future expenses. A long-term, affordable policy from Ethos can give you the peace of mind that if something happens to you, your family is well covered for years to come. Myth number 3.
Getting life insurance? It's just too complicated.
At Ethos, our 100% hassle-free online process can give you a quote in seconds, application in minutes, and coverage in hours. With no medical exams or blood work needed, just answer a few health questions. Get your free online estimate at ethoslife.com. That's ETHOS life.com. Rates will vary based on age, underwriting, face amount, and type of policy.
When you can't stop betting nonstop and gambling is affecting your relationships, your job, and more, are you really winning? This is Problem Gambling Awareness Month, and we want you to know you're not alone. You can get help by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Know the signs of problem gambling by visiting areyoureallywinning.com.
Today, a trip to the Final Four is at stake as our coverage of the NCAA tournament continues. We start at 7:45 following Blackhawks hockey. On your home, Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA tournament, 720 WGN.
Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200. Before we get on with Tim here, listening to your show, I learned a lot about Get Behind the Vest and my husband and his employees downtown, and I trust the Chicago Police Department to protect them and the public. It's the least that I could do. Chicago Police Memorial Foundation sent me a very nice certificate of appreciation and a really nice letter thanking me. Very cool. This listener donated, sent in a text. They even included a thank you card handwritten by Officer Mendoza of the 1st District. That was nice. Just want to thank them all and tell them that they have my family's back, so I continue to have their back. If I could help them, let them know. Thanks for doing the fundraiser from your loyal listener. Enjoy your show every Saturday. And just a reminder, you've got an election coming up here in the city of Chicago, and the only candidate, Paul Vallis, bought $1,000 worth of vests and pledged to buy vests for Chicago police officers if he's elected. So you could vote for whoever you want, but just that Paul Vallis is the only candidate that donated $1,000 to the Vestathon. Dave, real quick.
That letter also included 3 killer stickers, which I've put on 3 different windows.
Oh, look at you.
No, I couldn't believe it. Another officer's card I got. Anyway, it came with stickers, too.
All right. And Dave will be blowing through every stoplight in the city now. and we'll see if that gets you out of the red light tickets. Tim.
Can't hurt.
Yes. Huso Bio. Talk again. Why did you start this business? How much experience do you have? Thank you, Jack. And why should our listeners be aware of your company?
Okay. So I've been in the service industry since 1996. And the reason why at that time, the reason why it was started was me and a lifelong friend had assisted a neighbor of mine after a suicide. We performed the cleanup. And during that cleanup, that's when we realized that this type of service was necessary and needed. And so that's why we started it.
And how long have you been in business under your own flag?
So this company, Huso Bio, was started in July of last year.
Okay.
So the first company that I had owned, we had sold to a private equity company in 2012.
Okay.
And so
the non-compete ran out, and you're free to go and be a free agent.
Yes.
So you started back up again. You service how many states?
So right now we service 3 states: Illinois, obviously, Indiana, and Wisconsin.
And you work 24 hours a day. There's no days off for you. There's holidays, weekends, New Year's, everything.
Yes, 365 days a year.
Okay, so walk us through a typical call. 25% of your calls are just natural deaths, right? Somebody passed away in their home, and they might have gone to work and nobody's seen the employee for 3-4 days. They send somebody over, the cops probably, to do a health and wellness check, and Sally or Johnny, had passed away, expired due to natural causes.
Yep.
What happens during that time period?
So roughly a little bit over 50% of our cleanups are unattended deaths.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry,
then-
50%. My bad.
A little bit over 50. And then about 20% or so are suicides. And then from there, it kind of breaks out with homicides, industrial accidents.
Sure.
And just other types of accidents that occur.
So let's cover the 50% of somebody who has a loved one that passed away and their body has been was left alone for more than 24, 48, 72 hours.
Yep.
Walk us through that situation.
So usually we get the phone call.
Who calls you?
The customer usually.
A family
member will
Okay.
give us a call. Sometimes there could be a neighbor that's assisting the family because these are traumatic events
Sure.
that the family's going through. So people do try to assist them, but we receive the phone call in regards to what had taken place. At that time, we go through a variety of questions for that customer. One of them is, have the police been involved with an investigation? Because we always want to make sure that if they were involved, that the investigation is done. So once we've clarified all of that, we will schedule a time, and then we will head towards that house or business to perform that service.
So not only removing the body, because you have to get the body to a funeral home, I would assume.
Yes, and that's usually performed either by the coroner's office
Okay.
or some other body transport service.
So the body has already been removed.
Yep.
The person who has passed away. I know we're talking about morbid stuff, but it's like Schluter says, death's 100% certainty. Okay, we're all going to die. All right, so let's just get that out of the way. All right, except for Leahy, because he's 140 years old. He was telling me about the talking with Sherman at the battle, at Atlanta, and he was going over all the different strategies that they were going with General Sherman back in 1850s. But I digress. We're all going to go, okay? And one of these days, you're going to find a loved one or your neighbor or somebody who has passed away in their home, and nobody has found the body for more than 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, so things happen to a body once the heart turns off. Walk us through a cleanup scene.
So as a body lays there, again, there's a variety of environmental issues that we deal with. Heat and humidity will cause a body to decompose at a faster rate. So depending on how long that body had been there and some of the environmental concerns that we deal with will determine the severity of that scene. But a body that lays there for more than a couple days could expel a tremendous amount of fluids. And those fluids will penetrate all the surfaces of that house. It will go through the carpet. It will penetrate the subflooring. It could go through floorings and end up in other rooms. So it can create quite a lot of damage to that home.
And we're not talking putting on rubber gloves with your handy wipes and a bottle of vinegar and water. We're talking heavy duty industrial chemicals to clean your home.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, our chemicals are very specific for this type of service, from our degreasers to our disinfectants and then deodorizers. So they are very specific.
How long does it take for a typical cleanup? Somebody passes away in their bed, 3 days in the summertime.
Our average time at a job it falls right between 16 and 24 hours.
Holy smokes.
But that's with 3 technicians there.
So it could take up to 24 hours to do a thorough cleanup.
Yep.
Do you offer any type of certification when your cleanup is done?
Yeah, so we do testing when we're done. So we have what's called ATP testing, where we can come in and validate that all the surfaces that were affected have been thoroughly cleaned and that there's no microorganisms or anything left behind.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, Tim. Then we're going to come back. I want to bring Dave into this because typically when somebody passes away, there's a piece of property, either a rental that needs to be re-rented, right? Rented again, put on the market, or a piece of property, Dave. You've been in 30 plus years in practice. You've seen hundreds, if not thousands of situations where a family member passed away and then they have to sell the house. Well, you're not going to sell the house. It's kind of like not having permits. If you've got biohazardous body fluids and fecal matter there, you've got to get it cleaned up or else you're going to have major problems down the road. And I want to get into the legal side of it since we are a real estate show. It's, we're not like a death show, but we're talking about death because it's part of life. I know it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm waiting for Leahy to throw in some inappropriate comment.
Death and taxes.
Death and taxes.
A
There's
neighbor's going to lean over the driveway and say, they lost their mother a month ago.
Right.
And then they're going to go, wait a minute, we're still in attorney review. Then we get his certificate, end of issue.
Well, that's what we'll talk about in more detail. Okay, Tim, if our listeners want to reach out to you with questions, what's the best number? We'll come back after the break, but you're new. I want to get your number out there.
Well, the best way to reach us actually is through the website. And that's to go to husobio.com. And
Spell
that's
Huso.
HUUSObio.com.
One more time.
It's HUUSObio.com.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, come back with more with Tim. I'm going to try it again. Reifsteck.
Correct.
Ha! Leahy, you owe me $6. 312-981-7200. 312-981-7200. That's a MegaPros call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGN.
You want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I've heard many homeowners say that their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet, so you should feel the same way about your basement. Call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee so you can rest assured you're getting the best value. If you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call, Permaseal. We've helped over 450,000 homeowners across Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana since 1979 and have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325 or visit permaseal.net.
Young, best for me and better Permaseal.
Are you bringing in the new year with the same problem you had last year and the year before? I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and I know most business owners with tax troubles carry them from year to year. They may have tried to fix the problem on their own, or hired a tax resolution company, or even asked the IRS for help. But the problem never goes away. It just gets bigger. The problem gets so big, business owners tune it out as a defense, but it's always there, interfering with their sleep, their marriage, their relationships, and their self-confidence. I'm here to tell you it's not your fault. The system is out of whack. Instead of fixing the system, big government just got bigger, adding 87,000 employees to the IRS. I've worked with business owners for years, and Open Tax Advocates has developed a new unique process. We call it the Fight Back Now program. Let me show you how it works at a free online tax workshop. You have two choices: give in or fight back now. Join the movement, become a freedom fighter, and fight back against big government. Go to fightbacknow.com to register for the free online tax workshop. There's no time to waste. Fightbacknow.com.
Hi, it's Mike.
And Dean from Lindholm Roofing, Chicagoland's most trusted roofing, siding, gutters, and tuck pointing company.
Lindholm Roofing is most trusted because of our stability. We're family owned since 1949. That's 73 years of hard work and doing things the right way.
You know, Mike, I think Lindholm Roofing's most trusted because of our consistent A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Okay, Dean, we're sure proud of that, but I think it's Lindholm Roofing's experienced sales reps and in-depth knowledge that makes us the most trusted. We'll never try to sell you something you don't need.
Yeah, that's true, Mike. And Lindholm Roofing takes on all roofing, siding, gutter, tuck pointing jobs. Big or small, we do them all because every customer is important to us. That's why we're the most trusted.
Okay, Dean, maybe we can't agree on the why, but we can agree that Lindholm Roofing is Chicagoland's most trusted roofing, siding, gutters, and tuck pointing company.
For a free inspection, call 888-4-ROOFER or visit us at lindholmroofing.com.
Lindholm Roofing, our family has your family covered.
Home Sweet Home Chicago.
Can you take a picture, Joe, and send it to us?
You want me to do what?
I couldn't when I get home.
Where are you at now, Joe?
Yeah, where are you at now, Joe?
I'm in a friend's house about 10 miles away.
What are you doing there?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Why are you at your friend's house?
What are you doing at your friend's house, Joe?
Nothing you need to worry about. I'd rather not talk about it on the radio.
I had a feeling.
Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200, 773 texter here, Tim. Used to work for your guest Tim and his at his other company that he used to own with his brother Brian. Brian was my boss, and I had a few interactions with Tim. I want to say that they are class people all the way. They really care about their customers and the service they provide. They also value their employees and actually listen to their employees' ideas as well. People will not go wrong in using his company. I wish him all the best. So there you go. Here's the text. They printed it out so you could give this individual a call after the show. Let's talk about the expense of the disposal, because you and I had some interaction prior to the show, and I was not aware of this, and I'm sure our listeners were not aware of this. Who covers the cost to do the cleanup after a body is found in a home?
Yes. So a majority of the time, more than 95% of the time, who actually covers our costs is the homeowner's insurance or the business insurance, depending on the situation that we're dealing with.
Did you know that, Leahy?
I did not.
That Schluter?
I asked it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I knew the guy you were removing couldn't.
I mean, he likes hearing his name. I like hearing that I have something going on upstairs.
Okay, so the homeowner's insurance or the business, if somebody passes away at a business, industrial accident or whatever happens, 300 ways you could get killed at a business, lose your life at a business, the business insurance or the homeowner's insurance covers it. Is there any exclusions to that?
Yeah, so the only time we really get into issues is if it's considered neglect. So something like a hoarding situation, those are not covered by the insurance policy. And that's left up to the family.
And I'm going to bring Schluter in on this. The disclosures, right? I have friends. Yes, I do. Lay's like, I object. I've got friends when they're out buying homes, ask this question on every home that they go into. Has anybody died in this home? That is a very important question. You could have realtors out there. Back me up on this. 312-981-7200 text line. Text in. They will specifically ask, has anybody died in this house? Do they have to disclose that, Dave?
No, the current 23 questions, it does happen to include question 23, which says, has this been a meth lab in the past? But the violent act that happened or scary act or sad story or whatever is not on the disclosure form. But you're right. Everybody asks.
So now we were talking about the distinct smell that comes with a decaying body. And if you walk into a room and you've ever had that experience, I've never had that experience, thankfully. But those that have had that experience, can you walk us through that?
Yeah, so it's a very putrid or pungent odor, especially when you're dealing with an unattended death. And the longer that body lays, the stronger that odor is. And often, one of the things that we have to deal with, whether it's the initial family or it could be a neighbor, a tenant, is called isosomatic smell. And that's where, because they smelled that odor that was present in that home or that unit, that apartment.
Sure.
Whenever they enter that, they will always associate that area with that odor.
Even though you have done a biohazmat cleanup.
Yep. Even though we've removed everything.
312-981-7200. I'm a real estate agent in the western suburbs. Had a client lived by himself, passed away of natural causes in the house, was weeks before family members found him. Bio cleanup of the house and home restoration totaled $60,000, and the home insurance paid it, according to our texter here from the 630 area code. Who would even think about this if we didn't talk about it on the radio? I had no idea. I was truthfully excited to have you on because people pass away every single day. Somebody just died right now, okay? I mean, it happens all the time. Leahy, okay, you're still there. We still have a heartbeat. The Chicago police are waiting on the 18th floor with handcuffs and zip ties. I prefer the zip ties because the handcuffs leave. I'm allergic to metal around my wrists. Around my ankles is another thing, but I knew you were going there. I knew you were going there. I beat you to it. But this could be a very, very, very traumatic. Somebody just passed away.
Yes.
And you do a health and wellness check. I'm sure cops are a large source of your referral business.
Yes, that's who we really depend on getting our name out there. Our first responders. So police, fire departments, coroners, funeral homes, those that deal with the family immediately after the situation had occurred.
So we talk about this all the time. Nobody wants JC Restoration on their speed dial because you never thought you're going to have a mold challenge or a fire or a water damage, but you need to have Blue Sky Restoration. I'm sorry, they were acquired by Blue Sky. Nobody wants Blue Sky in their house. Okay, nobody wants their house to burn down And then you need a board up company to come. And then you need a cleanup company to come. Then you need a restoration company to clean up all that water and all the soot that just happened to your beautiful single family house that you've been living in for the past 30 years. Nobody thinks about somebody passing away in their sleep. It happens all the time, right? And then you get up, go to work, and you think your partner's sleeping. Well, guess what? Your partner's permanently sleeping. And now you're going to come home and the partner's still sleeping. And you've got a not only an emotional traumatic event, you got to clean up your house.
Yes.
Right. And you do all that.
Yes, we will take that. All of the fluids that are present is going to be removed. It's going to be boxed up as biohazard waste. It's going to be disposed of properly. And we're going to begin the house to put it back into its original condition.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. If our listeners want more information, what's the website?
It is husobio.com. So that's HUUSO bio.com.
All right, we're going to throw it over to Kevin Wells in the newsroom. 312-981-7200. He's got a nice new hat on. I can see the top of his head.
New hat. I'm wearing the same one.
All right, might want to take a shower. Okay, there's a new health code here at the station. Well, at least 3 times a week, Kevin Wells.
It's a good thing we got showers on the floor here.
I know. I got supplies in my office. 312-981. Use your own towel. Do not use my towel, Kevin Wells. You did that once, and I had to burn it. 312. Don't use it. 312-981-7200. 312-981-7200. That's a MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago on 720 WGN.
Blue Sky Restoration Contractors is a full-service national restoration, renovation, environmental, and roofing provider for properties damaged by water, fire, storms, and other disasters across the nation. With a location right here in Chicago, their engaged employees bring experience and teamwork to anyone who owns or manages property, provides property insurance, or manages property insurance claims. They offer the best around-the-clock restoration and emergency mitigation services, including commercial roofing and healthcare restoration services. For more information on Blue Sky Restoration Contractors, visit gobluesky.com. That's goblusky.com. Or call 800-956-8844. That's 800-956-8844. Blue Sky Restoration Contractors is in Chicago and here to serve you. Blue Sky provides commercial, industrial, governmental, residential, and multifamily restoration, renovation, environmental, and roofing services. Find them at goblusky.com.
This is David Hochberg, and I'm here with my good friend, real estate attorney and estate planning expert, David Schluter. David, how long have you been practicing real estate law?
35 years, Dave.
You are my go-to guy whenever I have any type of real estate questions. My question for you is, a lot of listeners have a misconception that if they co-sign for a loan or if they sign for a mortgage today, 15, 20 years from now, they don't have to worry about it if they get divorced, if they split up, if they're no longer in a relationship, or if they co-sign for a loan, they don't have to worry about it. Is that true or false?
It is totally false. It remains a joint obligation. Even a deed between the two people or a personal note where they copy the mortgage company or someone moves out of the property or out of state has no bearing. Even a divorce decree itself has no bearing on the lender. The lender has to refi with one of the people only, or the property has to be sold to get you off that mortgage obligation.
That is why if you have any real estate questions, you need to do what I do and call my lawyer, David Schluter, at 630-285-5300. David Schluter Law Office, David Schluter, best in the business.
At Chicago Shakespeare Theater, the Comedy of Errors transports the Bard's high-spirited farce to the golden age of film. Laughter and mayhem fill a London movie set in 1940 when a group of actors gather to film some comic relief for the troops. Now through April 16th. Tickets at chicagoshakes.com.
You may already know Mr. Floor for the beautiful wood floors that we install, sand, and refinish. Mr. Floor is a full-service local Chicagoland company who has provided homeowners and businesses with complete flooring solutions for over 30 years. Hi, I'm Igor Marak of Mr. Floor, and born out of our extensive experience and knowledge with hardwood floors comes the best hardwood floor cleaner on the market. As we visit Chicagoland homes and businesses every day, we see the damage that incorrect floor maintenance can cause. Most people are not cleaning their hardwood floors properly, and as we all know, a bucket of water and a mop is the surest way to ruin a wood floor. Forget about those harsh chemicals and cleaning products that leave your floors hazy and lifeless. We've researched, developed, and now produce the best hardwood floor cleaner ever. Our cleaner breaks the bonds of dirt and grease from your floor's coating without harming it. It's also eco and pet friendly too. Thousands of Mr. Floor clients have been using our cleaners for years, and now you can too. Visit us online at MrFloor.com to learn more and place your order. Use promo code WGN at checkout for a special offer. Mr. Floor, the first and last name in floors.
This is John Records Landecker, host of the John Landecker Radio Rest Stop, weeknights 7 to 10.
high atop the Next Star building on Wacker Drive in beautiful downtown Chicago on 720.
WGN Chicago.
A Next Star Media Group station.
It's 34 degrees, a wintry mix over Chicago and the northwest suburbs at 12:02. Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Wells. The news is sponsored by Main Street Smiles. The Illinois House was hard at work this week, and many bills that will impact your daily life now sit in the hands of the Senate. Let's touch on WGN traffic. Right now, 30 minutes inbound on the Edens. Outbound Edens clear at 15. An hour now inbound on the Kennedy. Stop and go starting at Foster into Montrose, and Montrose all the way into downtown. The express lanes will save you a little bit of time there, but not too much. Still going to run into some brake lights around Montrose and Diversey. The Eisenhower, an accident blocking the two left lanes inbound between Austin and Keeler. It's a 45-minute drive. Stevenson's a 20-minute drive into 20 minutes into the drive. The outbound side's about the same, and the left lane is blocked on the Dan Ryan Express lanes inbound at 43rd due to an accident. Rescue and cleanup efforts are underway in Mississippi following a deadly tornado last night. At least 23 people are dead. The storm produced hail the size of golf balls, and winds reached speeds of 70 miles per hour. The hardest hit area was the south side of Rolling Fork, and that's on the west side of the state. Sources are reporting extensive damage and radio communication being down in some areas. A local sheriff's office says they're working to save multiple people trapped in the debris. House lawmakers passed a slew of bills this week, ranging from preventing insurance companies from discriminating against dog breeds to prohibiting utilities from shutting off gas or electric services when the temperature is 90 degrees or above. A bill that went down the tubes dealt with banning pets from riding in your lap while driving. It was sponsored by Representative Jawahariar Williams of Chicago.
No, you cannot have it on your lap, but you can put it on the passenger side or in the back seat. Or in some cases, throw it in the trunk. I don't care.
All right.
I said, okay, not the trunk. Not the
The
trunk.
legislation would also make parents split a pregnancy 50-50. That's in the Senate now. That includes abortion and medical costs. A bill banning vaping inside of public places passed the Illinois Senate this week. Republican Senator Steve McClure of Springfield points out that it updates the Smoke-Free Illinois Act.
Places that are Republican states, places that are Democrat states, when the voters have the chance to choose to opt out of having to smell vapes and have it get blown in your face in bars, etc., they tend to choose to do so.
And that bill now moves to the House for a vote. A 26-year-old man is dead after he was hit by a car while crossing the street in the West Loop early this morning. According to police, officers responded to the call of a hit and run near the 800 block of West Washington Boulevard around 1 a.m., where a car was observed running a stop sign, striking the man crossing the street. Right now, no one is in custody. With the Chicago Police Department needing to add to its ranks, CPD announced two programs that would speed up the rehiring of officers who have recently left the department.
It would allow officers age 50 or younger who've left CPD in the last 3 years to return to the department at the rank of police officer, regardless of which rank they held when they left. Meanwhile, a lateral hire program would allow officers from other municipalities to join CPD while receiving credit for their time in those other police departments. To qualify for that program, officers have to be younger than 40 at the time of hire and complete a 12-month probationary period. CPD has about 1,500 vacant officer positions. Bob Kessler, WGN News.
A big effort to provide for those in need is happening today in Englewood. Taste for the Homeless and Mariano's are holding a food giveaway that's underway now. More than 500 units of prime rib and roast beef are being handed out for free. Volunteers also giving away potatoes and pot pies. The hope is to feed as many people as possible in time for Easter and Passover. WGN Sports Time, 12:05.
The NCAA tournament continues today without any of the top seeds still around. Later on, it'll be the finals of the East and the West regionals. We'll have live coverage of the West Final with Gonzaga and Connecticut starting at 7:45 here on WGN and WGNradio.com. In the East, Kansas State will face Florida Atlantic. The winners advance to next weekend's Final Four in Houston. Blackhawks are in action in Minnesota today. Pregame with Joe Brand at 3:30. The face-off at 4 with John Weideman and Troy Murray here on 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. The Hawks signed forward Paul Ludwinski to a 3-year entry-level contract. He was the Hawks' second-round pick in the 2022 NHL Draft. Bulls face the Lakers tomorrow in Los Angeles. 9 regular season games remain. The Bulls hold the 10th and final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. Exhibition baseball today as spring training winds down. The Cubs will take on the Angels in Tempe, and the White Sox will be in action tonight against the Reds in Goodyear, Arizona. I'm Andy Mazur, WGN Sports.
first weekend of spring, but Mother Nature has other plans for us with some heavy snow at times for us in north and northwestern Chicagoland. That's where there's a winter storm warning until 1 p.m. It could see some accumulations, 3 to 7 inches of snow, mostly for the tier of counties close to the Wisconsin state line. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, not as cold. Overnight lows dropping down to 30 from a high today around 38. And then for tomorrow, partly cloudy and milder, except near the lake where high temperatures will be near 40. Inland temperature around 47. The extended outlook does call for some rain and snow mix to return on Monday with highs near 40. Chilly weather continues Tuesday with some early showers and highs only in the mid to low end of the 40s. And while we're dry for most of Tuesday and most of Wednesday as well, we do see some showers returning late Wednesday night. Soggy but milder for the end of the week with high temperatures in the mid to upper end of the 50s and rain at times. From the WGN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Tim Joyce.
34 at O'Hare right now, 36 at Midway, and 36 along the lake. I'm Kevin Wells on Chicago's very own 720 WGN and WGNradio.com.
Thank you, Kevin. Coming up next, we've got a round robin here. You got questions? Bring it on. 312-981-7200. The call and text line. Looking forward to speaking with you.
Advent founder Dr. Madan Kandula on Advent's one-stop shop office-based procedures approach to solving breathing triangle problems.
A lot of folks are like, I don't want to go to surgery. You know, isn't there something else we can do? And at Advent, there is something else we can do. We have a whole host of office-based options where you don't have to go to surgery. We can do it under local anesthesia, get these things taken care of. How does that sound? And don't be surprised when you hear that a lot of people go for those options. When given the choice between surgery and office procedures, almost everybody that we talk to and give them the choice, they choose the office. That's not surprising. That's just understanding your patients and offering them the options that they would choose. So I think at Advent, when you put all that together, we are a one-stop shop for these issues.
Schedule your appointment at adventknows.com today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
I have 2 dogs, Sam and Bailey. Both are golden retrievers. Poor Sam, he was a mess. Always itching. His paws were soaking wet all day from just constant licking. He had bald spots on his back. I just don't like putting shots and steroids into your dog all the time. DINOVITE.com. Dynovite is nutrition. Probably 2 weeks after he started Dynovite, I started seeing great improvements, and today 99% of his issues are non-existent. It's amazing stuff. Since Bailey has been 12 weeks old, he's been a Dynovite dog, and he has 0 issues today. He won't eat his food without Dynovite. When I get out the Dynovite, my dogs actually salivate, like I'm getting them a treat. They drool over it. Dynovite is the best thing you can do for your dog.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dynovite from DINOVITE.com.
Antenna TV.
Nighttime is relax time. The best of classic TV time.
Hey, that's great.
Watch Three's Company, The Jeffersons, and Barney Miller.
Wonderful.
Only on Antenna TV on over-the-air channel 9.2 or check your cable listings.
Antenna TV.
You know the laughs. Now get your laughs all day. Watch the classic comedy of Antenna TV on over-the-air channel 9.2 or check your cable listings.
This episode of Home Sweet Home Chicago is sponsored by David Hochberg and MegaPro's Home Improvement and Restoration, Tim Reifsteck from Huso Bio, Stephen A. Leahy from OPEM Tax Advocates, and the law offices of David Schluter. For additional sponsors of the Home Sweet Home program, please visit WGNradio.com/Home Sweet Home Chicago. Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200 is a MegaPro's call, text, and photo line. It wasn't a realtor in the western suburbs. It was a State Farm agent.
Okay.
Said, I'm a SF agent. And I was thinking trying to find a real estate company with the initials SF, and I'm assuming it's State Farm with the $60,000 claim that we talked about during the prior segment. And then here's another one, 630. Both my parents died in the same room of the house exactly 4 years to the day apart. Our realtor said no need to say anything. No cleanup was needed as mom was in hospice and my mom was there when my dad passed away. So there. I mean, there are different situations for every. And you've got a quick one, a story that you wanted to share in Indiana Go ahead.
So these are stories that kind of break our heart when we hear situations like this. And it was a family in southern Indiana. The husband had committed suicide. The police came in, done their investigation. The coroner came in, removed the body, and then they left. And they left her with no other resource to assist her in the cleanup. This was a rifle that was used, so there was a lot of damage.
Right.
So she jumped on the internet, done some researching, and called the company. First, the company said, yes, we can help. A half an hour later, they called back and said, no, we can't do this. Another half an hour later, they called back and said, yes, we're on our way.
Oy.
Well, they never, ever showed up. So now here's the family sitting there with no one to assist. So then
with
she
a
calls,
messed up house.
with a messed up house.
Right,
So then she goes to, she does a little more research, comes across another company, said, yep, we will be there in 5 days. This is something that can't wait 5 days.
5 days?
Yes. And so finally, she had called back to the police department. The police department referred us. We were there within a couple hours. And if we hadn't gotten there that night, her oldest son was going to perform the cleanup. And that's not what should happen.
The older son is going to clean up with the oil, with the vinegar spray and
with bleach.
With
usually.
bleach. Yeah. I mean, that's not.
It's not for them to do.
Ay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And 630 text back. Yes, State Farm. Thanks, Dave. Love your show. Listen every week. So there you go.
Like a good neighbor.
Like a good neighbor. All right. Angelica in Portage Park. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How can we help you?
So I actually have a couple questions. My first one being, I've lived in an apartment for about 2 years now, and I'm very sensitive to smell, and I've lived in a house with mold before. And I know we have a problem with either regular mold or black mold in my apartment, and I've been getting physically ill and have to stay home from work. And I brought it up to the landlord's attention, and they've done absolutely nothing. So I guess my first question would be regarding the mold. How do I go about asking for somebody to come perform a test? Do I have to run that by the landlord, or can I just inquire and have somebody come and just pay my own way?
This is Dave, the attorney. You can always do a test. There's no prohibition on testing a place where you live, but I wouldn't get like the $4.99 one. I would think maybe would Jeremy be helpful about what the brand would be?
Well, Blue Sky would as
or
well.
Blue Sky. Yeah, we have the people will here at the producers at the show can get you our show partner. There's nothing prohibited, and you're not going to get sued for doing it. Now, as far as whether your landlord does something about it, again, I've heard a lot of stories. Sometimes they go, well, you can leave now. In other words, we're not going to make you stay, blah, blah, blah. But when the time comes when you get that back, I'll have the producers also give you my number. If there is something that will involve landlord-tenant law, I have a firm that I use for all those matters, and they also do have personal injury type lawyers too. But that doesn't help your world if you win a case. It's all about whether maybe you can get out of the lease if it can't be corrected.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And then my second question is, so my boyfriend and I live in this apartment together, and unfortunately in October of last year, he got into a very severe injury at work where his Achilles tendon was completely severed, and he wasn't working for about 4 months. During those 4 months, I was the only breadwinner, and so we were late for rent. And when I say late, I mean maybe 1 or 2 days past the first of the month. And now the landlord is basically saying, I don't care about your personal life. Whatever's happened. You guys didn't pay. And so they're trying to kick us out by the 1st of April, which is next week.
Well, hold on. Have they started a case in Cook County? They can't just do self-help.
No, they have not.
Okay. Well, that's posturing, and you let them know by all means that whatever their intentions are, everything has to be in Chicago, of all places, a very pro-tenant town. They have to use the Circuit Court of Cook County. So tell them they better not have any intentions of self-help, which is the old way where people come in and throw your stuff out. Let them know that you happen to consult with an attorney, and by no means are they doing any such thing. It takes a long time for the Circuit Court of Cook County to have you removed.
When's your lease up?
So our lease is actually month to month.
All right, well, this
So
guy
that was my
sounds like
other
a
question.
jackass.
Is that different?
Right. Yeah.
Because he's only called me and told me that he was planning on doing that. So I don't have anything written. I don't have any evidence that they're planning on doing this. And we have all of the documentation from the postmaster. My boyfriend works at the post office. That's where this happened. And the doctors and the Department of Labor.
But the bottom line is,
threw that out.
But they cashed your checks, right? The even ones that were late, they got their money?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Yeah, I think that if they go to a lawyer who's any kind of ethics, they're not going to take that case. But either way, you can the staff will give my number for that purpose, and then Monday or Tuesday I can connect you with my friend he is a Cook County eviction lawyer, and you can go ahead. I'll get you his number if you call me Monday or Tuesday.
But she's month to month. Does that play into
they're not,
it?
Here's what they're doing, David. They don't have to renew.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
No, I understand that. But the issue is that if they're talking about we're throwing you out, is what she said.
Okay, well, maybe she's misinterpreting it. Maybe and I'm just taking the other side.
Something in writing anyway.
Well, I'm just taking the other side of this, Angelica.
She did not get a 30-day. You did not get a 30-day notice during January, or no, it would have to be during February to have it end at the end of March.
Right.
You did not get a letter, correct?
No, I did not.
It's just verbal, so she's okay for now. It would take another 30 days.
But if the landlord had brains between his ears,
right,
he would give her a
30-day notice, which is ending at the month after. So if he did it in February, she'd have to be out by March 31. If he does it now, she has to the end of April.
Okay.
In those cases, you will have to find a new place because you are month to month.
Right. And then, so I just wanted to cover that for you, Angelica.
Right.
So if he does drop the 30 days, listen, you're in Chicago,
right?
You are pro-renter, anti-property owner here in Cook County. They are 100% in favor of the tenant. Everything that you've got, every law, is against the owner of the property, every way, shape, or form.
I think they're just trying to intimidate someone.
Well, right. But if this landlord doesn't give you written notice, then you just keep paying it, and then you'll have aggravation with mold and the other mishigas you got going. I'd probably find another place to live.
The landlord's been very aggressive. Like when he spoke to my boyfriend was trying to explain, we're late, but we'll pay you an extra $500 for being late. And the landlord was screaming to him, telling him to shut the F up and all this other stuff.
Yeah, well, it takes all types, and he's probably trying to raise the rent with somebody new. That's what's driving it, because rents are going up every day. But give me a call Monday or Tuesday, and I'll connect you with my Chicago attorney who only does landlord-tenant.
Okay, Angelica?
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, hang on for your Mr. Floor cleaning product, your choice. You want to chime in there, Steve, before we hit the break?
Whatever. Say that again.
Mishigas.
That's it.
Yeah, just stay with the Irish terms. I'll handle the Yiddish. It's Mishigas. It's like crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
I knew what it meant.
If the guy, right? Don't, because we'd have to convert you, and then you'd have to go to Yiddish class, and then by that time, God knows where you're going to be.
He just said we're on the David Hochberg show.
I know.
I don't know what his problem is. This guy can't
Listen, if you
pronounce
think you got challenges with Lent, try going through a week of Passover. That's like eating that matzah for a week. Forget about it. I'm just telling you. Rooter, if you know what I mean. 312-981-7200. That's like packing it in there.
I don't know what you mean.
You don't want to know. All the Jews out there go, I know exactly what he means. 312-981-7200. Mega Pros call, text, and photo line. We got Doug and Carrie. We've got Howard and Hawthorne Woods coming at you after the break. Don't go anywhere. Home Sweet Home Chicago at 720 WGN.
They've done several different things.
We are talking today with mega customer Robert Carmody of Old Town Chicago.
They had to replace a wooden floor that had been destroyed by a big water leak. So they had to come in and take the destroyed wood out of here room by room, and then prep the floor and all the moldings and all that kind of stuff, and then put in a whole new floor. Their method is fantastic. The way they think about the job first and then execute, and then make sure that they've executed well and then back it up. All it takes is a telephone call and the mega people are on top of it. With that kind of work, it's almost mindless. I got a problem, I'm going to call Mega.
One mega call does it all.
847-658-8989. 847-658-8989.
Megapros.com.
One mega call does it all.
Luck is on your side at Joe Cotton Ford. Time to grab some gold savings. 0 APR financing on new Fords. Buy a new 2022 Ford Escape for just $28,490. How lucky is that? Need a great new truck? The end of the rainbow is the start of your great new truck deal at Joe Cotton Ford. Purchase a brand new Ford F-150 and get $500 in parts and accessories. And talk about luck being on your side. Every new Ford truck is on sale. XLs, XLTs, Lariats, Limiteds, Platinums, and the STX are all in stock now. Plus, Joe Cotton's appraisers are handing out the gold with top trade offers. 0 financing on new Fords. New 2022 Ford Escapes, $28,490. And new F-150s come with $500 in parts and accessories. Grab some gold savings today at Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream or at joecottonford.com.
Plus, tax, title, license, and doc paid with approved credit on select models in lieu of Ford rebates and incentives. See dealer for details.
Hot water is a luxury that many of us take for granted, but when your water heater fails, you quickly realize how much you rely on hot water. If your water heater is over 10 years old or making abnormal banging noises, or you notice your hot water is just not hot enough, call the pros at Center Guard Plumbing. They're a family-owned company with all their own employees and decades of experienced plumbing knowledge. Center Guard Plumbing is the local water heater expert, installing over 2,000 water heaters in the Chicagoland area every single year, and they'll beat or match any water heater quote by another licensed contractor. Center Guard Plumbing makes the estimate process so simple, too. Most of their work is quoted by you texting them pictures, saving service call fees. They'll never pressure you or upsell you for unnecessary repairs. Call Center Guard Plumbing today, 847-406-8883. No job too small. Visit WGNplumber.com. That's WGNplumber.com for Center Guard Plumbing. Expert plumbers you can trust.
It's a show about food, fashion, and some fun. Daytime Chicago with Tanya Francisco and Amy Rutledge. Weekday mornings at 10 on WGN TV.
Home Sweet Home Chicago.
You just need to have the right agent who's going to bat for you guys, who can be aggressive in this market.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It's like a dating website, right? Don't be a creep or a pain in the rear end. Not that I know anything about that.
Don't be creepy. He's a pro.
I'm just saying.
Did you look in the mirror this morning?
I Googled it.
Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. Go to WGNDavid.com. 630. David, my sister passed away, and we found her 5 days later. I called the company out of McHenry for biological cleanup. They were great in such a difficult situation. Made such a difficult situation a lot easier. These people are angels on earth. Thank you for covering this important topic today. So there you go, Tim.
It's good.
Everybody's like, what are you bringing that guy on for? I'm like, well, let's see. Somebody just died right now, okay? And it happens all the time. Suicide happens. Murders happen. We don't want it to happen, but they happen. And if it's done in a house or a business, you got to clean it up.
These subjects that nobody talks about are the ones we should talk about.
Exactly. Like that one eyebrow hair sticking straight up. What is with that?
Well,
you see that?
And his imminent demise.
Can you see that?
We have his imminent demise coming.
You see that? It's on the left one. It's like shooting straight north.
I'm looking at the camera.
No, you got it. There you go. It's down. It's like alfalfa in your eyebrows. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. Go to WGNDavid.com. Can you feel that thing growing? Because it kept going. It was like Jack and the Beanstalk. Doug and Carrie, how are you?
I like to let hair grow when I can.
I understand. You're follically challenged. How are you, Doug?
I'm doing good.
What's up, buddy?
I got a question. I have a HOA up in Wisconsin. It's a small 10-unit. I have a duplex cabin 2 and 3. Back 25 years ago, they labeled it as one cabin. Everything was fine till about 10 years ago. They decided to go and update the bylaws and everything to be compliant with Wisconsin. They want a maintenance fee from me for the other cabin.
For the other cabin.
No problem.
Yep.
I will pay the maintenance fee if I get another vote for the other cabin. Mm-hmm. They don't want to give me a vote.
Ooh.
I thought the mission of the board was to treat everybody fairly so that every unit owner would receive one vote. They want the revenue. They don't want to give me a vote. I think it's a matter of some people will have maybe too many votes and might vote one way or another. I think I'm being singled out.
Dave?
Yeah, the producers will give you my number. This is Dave Schluter, the attorney for the show. I'm giving a disclaimer, like my buddy Steve would, that I don't practice in Wisconsin, but I do have somebody who does. The issue is, I hope you have a current set of all your bylaws from day one. Were you one of the original investors, or how long had it been around?
Oh, it's been around about 25 years. It was written up as one cabin then, and when it went to the new attorney in Wisconsin, it was also written up as one cabin.
But they're tagging them for double assessment.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you. But the issue is, when you say the new attorney, you went to the new association attorney or your own attorney?
No, the board went to a new attorney.
Okay. Yeah,
and
I would
we
go.
are going to be having a meeting in about a week.
Yeah, but you've got a full set of everything. You have all the amendments. You have all the minutes. You have everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah, if
sir.
you call the office Monday or Tuesday, I'll give you the phone number for the Wisconsin attorney. I don't think she does condo messes, but she'll know somebody.
You got a mess on your hand there, Doug.
No kidding.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to blast you out of. So they want to hit you for double assessments, but they don't want to give you a vote for the other unit. That doesn't seem fair to me.
No, it sounds like they're overstepping their power.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's all governed by the bylaws. And like I said, the producers will give you my phone. Unless you've got a pen, I can give it to you now.
I got one.
Yeah, 630
Okay.
285
All right.
5300. Anytime after 8:30 on Monday, you could ring. If I'm in a meeting, the ladies will take. I have four assistants, and they'll get you. And just say you were the Wisconsin condo problem cabin person, and I'll know who you are, and I'll call you, and I'll give you my friend who's licensed in Wisconsin.
And don't let those Wisconsin people push you around, Doug.
All righty.
All right,
I'll
buddy.
try not to.
Hang in
your
there,
Mr.
Doug. We'll
Floor
see you later.
312-981-7200. Howard, we got 2 minutes before the break. Hawthorne Woods, how can we help you?
Okay, I'll make it fast. Thanks for taking my call, guys. We've lived in our home for 35 years in Hawthorne Woods, Lake County. Starting to look at maybe, trying to put it up in the market soon. The trouble is, the documentation I was looking for, we paid the house off about 6-7 years ago. In the documentation I got from them saying the mortgage has been paid in full and there's no whatever, I never received a title. And
Okay.
I'm curious, am I supposed to receive a title or does it stay on?
Hang on,
with
Howard.
the lake?
No.
Hang on, Howard. Dave, you got 1
yeah.
minute.
You got a title the day you bought. A lot of people don't remember it. I've done over 20,000 deals, so I am going to tell you the truth on this. You already got a title when you bought. That's the only title you need. What they did was they had a mortgage lien, but you could go to Waukegan and check to make sure that the release of that lien was recorded. 18 North County Street. They have to tell you. And you can even look on the website.
Go online.
If you go on the website and it says release of that loan, it'll reference Citibank or whatever. Then you don't get a new title. They just remove their cloud on the title. They had a cloud on your title that release removes. You'll be free and clear and able to sell.
Make you feel better, Howard?
I don't physically have to have a copy of a title.
No, it's not a title, but you do need to know that the release of that lien. A lot of lenders are lazy about it because they don't make any money on it. So you can go on the website, but if you're not into that, bring in your tax bill, go to the recorder's office and say, is there a release of my mortgage recorded? They will help you.
They'll help you, Howard,
Real
all right?
quick, if there is no release, what do I have to do?
Well, if you have the original release, check and see if it has some recording numbers in the right-hand corner. If it says Lake County Recorder and a 10-digit number, just save it.
Okay.
But if it doesn't, hey, don't lose that sucker because the bank could be out of business.
Right.
So, and then
It is out of business.
Okay, well, if you got one without recording numbers, drive it there. It'll cost you $40-$50 record it and be done. But if you see recording numbers in the right-hand corner, it's time-stamped. You're all set.
All right, Howard?
Thanks. Thank you very much.
All right, well, thanks for hanging on for so long and hang on for your Mr. Floor cleaning product. We've got to take a quick break here. 312-981-7200. John Hanson is in the control booth. John, could you come in during the next segment? We got a quick question for you. I need something clarified. 312-981-7200. And only John Hanson, John with an N. There's no H in John. He's very temperamental about that. 312-981-7200 is the Mega Pros call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago at 720. WGN. Larry from Downers. Hang on. Betty from Illinois. We're going to pick you up after the break.
With the local resources of Channel 9 and the national resources of cable news network News Nation, this is WGN Radio, on air and online.
35 degrees, wintry conditions today, some rain and snow mix at 12:31. Good afternoon, I'm Kevin Wells. The state of Illinois is putting more money into healthcare, millions of dollars for those without insurance or who are underinsured. WGN Sports, the NCAA tournament continues today. The finals in the East and West Regionals. Live coverage of Gonzaga and UConn tonight at 7:45 right here on 720 and WGNradio.com. Before that, we have Blackhawks hockey. They're up in Minnesota. Pregame is at 3:30 with Joe Brand. Face-off at 4. John and Troy on the call right here on the dial, 720 WGN and WGNradio.com. Other games today in the tournament, Kansas State, Florida Atlantic at 5 o'clock. Gonzaga, UConn at 7:50. Exhibition baseball, Cubs and Angels in the Desert at 2 o'clock. Sox and Cincinnati, the nightcap at 8. WGN traffic now. Things are still heavy inbound on the Edens. Get used to that. It's going to be like that for quite a while. 30 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, a very heavy trip inbound on the Kennedy, now an hour solid between Austin and Montrose, and the Edens all the way into Fullerton. Kennedy express lanes will save you a little bit of time, but not much. It's still a 15-minute ride from Montrose to Ohio. A lot of brake lights in there. Eisenhower inbound's a 35-minute trip, outbound side 35 as well. Stevenson looking good in both directions. No delays on the Dan Ryan. DuSable Lakeshore Drive is heavy right now. Southbound Hollywood Ermine Road to Marquette is a 25-minute commute. A man is in critical condition this morning after being hit by a car in the Bridgeview neighborhood. Police say he was crossing Harlem near 87th around 8:30 last night. He's being treated right now at Christ Medical Center. Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza announced a $4.5 million payment to the Illinois Association of Free and Charitable Clinics today. The state grant money, approved by the General Assembly and signed by Governor Pritzker last year, will provide support to the IAFCC's member clinics in assisting uninsured and underinsured people living with acute and chronic health issues throughout medical care, outreach, health education, screening, testing, oral health care, and behavioral health services. This is the first half of the $9 million grant for those clinics. With less than a week until opening day at Wrigley Field, fans can now get some new food options when you get to the ballpark. You can get small burgers in the bleachers, crispy chicken, bao bun, Greek-loaded fries. Au cheval will be there, as will be other items, including the burger brats, crispy chicken torta, and all to wash it down, you can get a 26-ounce beer brat. Let's get a look at the forecast from the WGN Chicago Weather Center. Today, heavy snow at times. Also could see some rain in there. We'll see a high of 38. Wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Tonight, a low of 30, mostly cloudy, not as cold. Tomorrow, a high of 47, partly cloudy and mild. Right now, it is 35 at O'Hare and 36 at Midway. I'm Kevin Wells on Chicago's very own 720 WGN and WGNradio.com.
Spring is all about new beginnings. So hey, it's time to transform that tired old kitchen or bath. If your home is in need of an overhaul, get moving on that makeover and let the team at Builders Supply Outlet and The Edge Kitchen and Bath help. It doesn't have to be a major renovation, just a few tweaks can turn your kitchen from drab to fab. Changing or replacing even just one or two items can completely alter the look of a room. Just imagine how adding granite or quartz countertops, new hardware, or a sleek faucet would update your outdated kitchen. You could add luxury vinyl floors or a pop of color with a new backsplash to your bathroom for a real wow factor. Simple upgrades pack a powerful punch. Whether you're looking for ideas to modernize or maximize space, you'll find plenty of inspiration at BuildersSupplyOutlet.com. Shop online, place your order, and then pick it up when it's ready. Renew the look of your home this spring at Builders Supply Outlet.
If you are renovating your kitchen or bathroom, call the refinishing experts at Miracle Method to learn about refinishing instead of replacing. Miracle Method will refinish your existing cabinets, countertops, bathtubs, showers, floors, and tile, making them look and feel brand new. Save 50 to 75% over the cost of replacement, and most projects are completed in less than 2 days. I've seen the finished product, and it's amazing. For more information about refinishing instead of replacing, call 630-832-2250 or visit miraclemethod.com/Chicago.
Honey, come here, quick.
What is it?
Shh, check it out. All these highly rated wines are under $20. Total Wine must have made a mistake.
Nope, they always have the lowest prices. Oh, remember that amazing rosé your sister brought over last week? See, it's right here.
Whoa, that's a low price. I mean, whoa, that's a low price.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Let's face it, talking about life insurance is never easy. But after we watched a close friend lose her husband with no insurance, we decided that wasn't going to happen to our family.
Yeah, but shopping for life insurance can be almost as difficult as talking about it.
But then we heard about Ethos Life Insurance. They're a new kind of life insurance, built for people on a busy schedule who don't have time for unnecessary doctor's visits, fine print, or hidden fees. You know, who want to keep it simple.
I couldn't believe how easy it was. We answered a few basic questions, and within minutes, we had an estimate of what it would cost and what sort of policy made sense for us.
I never imagined a life insurance could be so affordable.
And accessible.
The peace of mind knowing that our future is secure, it just removes a lot of the fear around getting older. And
Yeah, the unexpected.
I'm glad we talked about it.
I'm glad we went with ethoslife.com.
Go to ethoslife.com now for your free estimate. That's ethoslife.com. ethoslife.com.
AI has the ability to steal your voice and convince your loved ones that it is you talking. We'll get an expert on about that. And how often are you supposed to vacuum your mattress? It's spring cleaning time. We've got all your tips.
Monday afternoon at 2 on The Lisa Dent Show.
WGN.
Now, here's Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200, Mega Pros call, text, and photo line 847, Tim. Mom passed away a few years ago, fell in the kitchen, a real mess. Local police gave us a list of trusted companies. We had one out in the house in a few hours. So there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. It happens. We got John Hanson in here. How are you, John?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm tremendous. Couple of weeks ago, it was St. Patty's Day.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, it was, and you had a scheduled expert by the name of Stephen.
This is going.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah.
Stephen Leahy was scheduled to be on at the top of the show.
Right at the start. Right. That's how I like to start the show. Little Leahy to like a rocket to the moon, start the show off right.
And they've been doing St. Patty's Day in the city of Chicago over 150 years.
About 125 years, I think.
And would you agree that Leahy's last name, Stephen A. Leahy, is an Irish last name?
It would certainly indicate to me that he would know about festivities happening where the river is green, et cetera, et cetera.
Counselor Leahy, are you of Irish descent?
I am, but I'm old school. I remember when we used to have the parade on St. Patrick's Day.
How many years have you been a resident of the Chicagoland area?
My whole life.
And the St. Patty's Day parade and all the festivities with dyeing the river green has been going on for maybe all of my years. All of your
objection leading.
No.
and I was a willing participant for many years.
Okay, and would you agree that there's typically a larger volume of traffic on that day of St. Patrick's here in the city of Chicago?
That's what put me behind.
Is that what it was?
Fifth Amendment.
Stay in your lane, Counselor. We're not talking real estate.
I rely on Dave.
So I'm all excited. I hear John is promoting. I got Stephen. Big guest.
Big booking. Yeah, right.
Huge.
Tax questions are lining up on the text line.
Phone lines lit up, all
Jammed.
12 of them.
Yep.
Everybody wants to talk to Leahy. I walk in there to say, hey, how you doing? You know, it's good to see you. I'm glad I didn't have to drive down with you. Leahy's nowhere to be found.
Nowhere.
You're freaking out, panicking.
Because normally he's a punctual guy. He's
Very
here.
punctual.
It's usually because Hochberg drives him in.
Yes.
But he's usually here and ready to go. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting texts from Steven. Oh, no.
It's St. Patty's Day.
Right. I call him. He's out of breath. I'm like, what is happening?
I was really huffing it over here.
Because you chose to run half the way.
Which he doesn't run.
Because you couldn't drive. I couldn't drive over here. It was
what he considers
he
considers running is like a fast walk for a person in a wheelchair. So as a mainline host, because I'm a full-time mortgage professional.
Right.
I do this. I just crawl through the show, try to make it 3 hours.
Right.
But you are a professional.
Right. Luckily, we had a guest that we could, Iridian, my producer, calling up guest, flipping it around.
That's because he is a professional.
I know.
Making room for Leahy, who then, I had to call him back because literally I'm like, you need to slow down because you can't die. We got a half hour we got to fill on the show.
We have a guy now.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we have a guy to clean it up.
John,
you go on Lower Wacker if anything happens to Leahy.
John, how long was the guy from Roto-Rooter on before Steve came in?
So I just wanted to clear the air that it completely messed up the beginning of your highly successful, highly rated, much higher rated show than this.
No, here's the thing. He didn't mess anything up. You couldn't even tell.
I didn't say he messed it up.
Because he's a professional.
I covered it.
That's right.
Exactly.
Seven buckets.
I messed him up, but you couldn't tell.
7 buckets of sweat. You didn't see the sweat on the other side. I did. All right.
It was a nice one.
So I just wanted to.
We had a towel ready.
And
for
I
him
may
when he
never
got
be
in.
on that show again.
No, you'll be on.
Please, come on.
You'll be
You'll
on.
be on. Don't worry. But your money matters too.
But note to all of you young broadcasters out there that are thinking about coming down to Chicago during the St. Patrick's Day festivities, Mr. Leahy, is there a larger volume of traffic during that day than typically happens?
Start earlier than you think.
Okay. Thank you, John
It worked
Hanson.
out well. No problem.
Let's get
Hochberg.
legal coming up next with John Hanson. What's spelled, there is no H. And if you're going to send him a text or anything, don't drop the H in there. It's very sensitive.
You know, I'm not sensitive. You mentioned this a couple
You
times.
made a
now.
post on it.
I did. So here's what it is. And it had nothing to do with WGN. It was somewhere else I worked. But if I worked there for 10 years and you're still writing the wrong name, come on, at that point, like if it's anyone on the text line, that's okay. They spell both my names wrong, John, and they say Hanson. That's fine. You know, they don't know me as well as my boss does, not at this job, at another job.
Maybe they're trying to tell you something. Maybe they're for you. Maybe you should just be happy they got the John out there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping in and clarifying that.
Thank you.
Would you apologize, please?
He's done a minute. He doesn't have to.
All right, we gotta take Larry here in Downers Grove. Larry, Downers Grove, how are you? Thanks for holding.
Doing okay. Thank you for taking my call. I haven't been listening to you from the beginning, but I have a question about passing away.
Okay.
If a person passes away in the bed, how fast does the fluid start going? If I can ask you.
Tim?
Yeah, it really depends. Again, the environment has a lot to do with that. If it's warm out or if there's humidity is high, the body will begin to decompose fairly quickly after that. And then on top of that, the size of the person also determines that too. The more water the body is holding, the quicker it will release that.
Can you quickly, do we answer your question, Larry and Downers?
Yeah, in a sense, if it's in like a hospital.
Oh, in a hospital.
In a hospital. Well, those bodies are usually taken down to the morgue that's within the hospital
And put in a freezer relatively quickly until the
or if the undertaker comes and takes
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Yes. Yep.
Right. Or the nursing home, the funeral
Does
home.
the body procedure start right away?
No, once they get it into the freezer, that's what's going to help to slow or minimize the decomposition.
Okay, Larry?
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Hang out for your Mr. Floor cleaning product, 312-981-7200. Can you quickly tell the story of that you completely grossed us out with the guy in the bathtub?
Oh, yeah.
Real quick?
Yeah,
before the break?
Again, we get into a lot of very different situations, and we had one where a gentleman had passed away in a bathtub, and the water was running and had been running for 2 weeks before anyone had found him.
Good morning.
And so that's where these situations can become very complex because there's a lot of structural items within that house that have to be removed in order to thoroughly do your job correctly.
You had to replace the whole first floor and it went
the whole
in the basement.
first floor went. Fluids ended up in the basement. The entire kitchen was gone. So these can get quite severe.
Gets in the walls?
Yes, it absolutely gets in the walls.
Right.
Actually, this one was on the outside. We had to remove siding and so forth.
Wow. All right, you got that going. Dave, are wills recorded and publicly accessible? 708 text.
After a person passes away, there is no registry, but I get a common thing about where's my parents' wills? They're in a nursing home. They get filed after the person passes away if a family member comes forward to a lawyer or to the clerk of the court and says, I have the will. But that's done by the people who are responsible enough. There's actually a statute in Illinois that says you can't conceal the will of a person who's passed away. It must be recorded in the county seat of their residence. So there's no mandatory, but it's up to the integrity and the experience of the family members.
Betty, how are you? You got a quick question, then we're going to go to a break and pick you up on the other side. What's your question for Dave?
I'm calling regarding a 4-building townhouse unit where one of the owners has not been paying association dues for 6 months now, so going into 7 months starting next month. And I'm wondering what we can do about it.
All right, hang out for your answer. We got to take a quick break, Betty. I referred you a client similar, hadn't paid her association dues in 2 years, owned her home free and clear with a 560 credit score. Impossible for me to do a loan. We'll bring you in on that as well. 312-981-7200, 312-981-7200. That's the MegaPros call, text, and photo line. This is Home Sweet Home Chicago. We're going to pick Betty up on the other side, and we've got Pina in Chicago with the title question after these messages.
BMO Harris is a proud sponsor of the Home Sweet Home Chicago radio program. If you, like many other homeowners right now, are considering a home renovation project, contact BMO Harris Bank to learn more about how they can help you finance your projects. For more information, visit them at bmoharris.com/homesweethome. That's bmoharris.com/homesweethome. Or just click their link on the WGN Home Sweet Home Chicago program page.
Hi, it's Lou Manfredini. There are few rites of spring more satisfying than the annual deep clean. This spring cleaning tip is sponsored by Lindemann Chimney Heating and Cooling. Properly cleaning and sweeping ash from the firebox in your fireplace is safe and important for proper operation. But what do you do with all that ash? Well, did you know it contains calcium, potassium, and magnesium? How about you sprinkle it onto your lawn and garden? It's also high in pH, meaning that if you have soils that are acidic, you can add the ash as a way to neutralize the pH. Just sprinkle it on your lawn to give it a little alkaline boost. And now this. Springtime is the best time for your annual chimney cleaning and inspection. Now that the burning season's over, hire Lindemann Chimney Heating and Cooling to clean out your dirty, smelly fireplace. And while they're there, they can check the masonry to make sure that you keep the spring rains out. Go to cleanfireplace.com. That's cleanfireplace.com for Lindemann Chimney Heating and Cooling.
You got old drafty windows and doors at your home. That's no fun. It's too cold in the winter. It's too hot in the summer. A lot of WGN radio listeners have done what Brenda and I have done. We called Next Door and Window. Next Door and Window. Right now, I just think this is such a good deal. You hear these deals, but listen to this one. Buy one window, get one 40% off. Call 844-600-NEXT. Schedule a free consultation. Next Door and Window. They install beautiful, energy-efficient Marvin fiberglass windows and doors made from Ultrex fiberglass, 8 times stronger than vinyl. This is a no-pressure approach. They come in, they educate you, they consult. They say, what's your style? What's your fashion? What's your budget? It's so nice to invite someone into your home and you don't feel like you're under the gun. Especially when you buy one, you get one 40% off. Call 844-600-NEXT or visit 1-800-NEXTDOOR.com. Next Door and Window, serving local homeowners for over 20 years.
Home Sweet Home Chicago.
Whoop, there goes the 39.
Exactly.
Okay. Now what happens?
You still owe it.
I know you owe it there, Zippy.
Is that something new?
Well, that's a technical term here.
I thought that was an endearing term.
Yeah.
Zippy. Kind of like fluffy. Just cool it, Zippy.
There's an Urban Dictionary. Look up Zippy. I can't explain it on the air. Else we'll get turned off and Dean Richards will walk in here.
Now, here's David Hochberg and Home Sweet Home Chicago.
312-981-7200 MegaPros call, text, and photo line. Dave, Betty has got in a 4-unit condo building. She doesn't sound happy that one of the tenants has not paid their association dues in the past 6+ months. What is Betty's recourse?
Betty, there are very specific guidelines under the law. Your association has to be very careful to follow the guidelines. Your board should hire a condo specialist firm, and they don't have to lien it. They can just actually do an eviction, and that'll get the attention. If they evict the person, the guy will still own it, but then they can rent it out and use the rent to pay his dues. So that'll get their attention. Just make sure they use an attorney that represents condo associations, not just a regular real estate attorney.
Does that make sense, Betty?
Actually, no, but do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, the staff will give you my number, and I will give you a firm that only does that on Monday or Tuesday, and I'll get that for you. Yeah, they have to move fast, but they have to follow the rules strictly to the word.
All right, Betty. Listen, I know it blows, but at least you got the answer that you want. It's going to cost your condo association a couple of bucks to hire an attorney, but you got to do everything by the law. Hang on for your Mr. Floor cleaning product. Pina in Chicago, title question for our panel. How can we help you?
Hi, good morning. Oh, no, it's afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My question is, can a title and loan person do a TOD for you if I want to get TOD done?
What's a TOD?
TOD is great. It's called transfer on death. What it does is you still own it while you're alive, but you can put who gets it after you pass away. It's a statute in Illinois that was created that does work. So you can pick who. You can also undo it if you have to down the way if you change your mind. But if you do pass away while it's recorded and it's all done, yes, it'll go outside of probate. That's the key.
I just want to say, I have Dave. We talk a lot about this. That it's how important it is to get that done and get the right people.
Right. Yeah, you don't just want to go online or anything like that. It has some because it's statutorily created, ma'am, it actually has to be done to the letter. But yeah, if someone holds themselves out as doing those, you'll be fine. It does have some recording fees and some attorney's fees, but it's not huge. Okay.
My favorite Dave
All right,
advice
Pina,
is
hang out for your Mr. Floor cleaning product and have a great rest of your day. Go
my
ahead.
favorite Dave advice is that a will is a ticket to probate.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that people should know that.
Transfer on death will work. It'll keep it out of the estate.
Mr. Schluter, my wife and I own a home, free and clear. It has been both our names. We are having marital challenges. I decided to give the whole house to her. What steps should I do? Thank you so much. Well, a divorce decree might help.
Well, are they undoing it? I don't know if he wants to undo it or not, but again, the staff can give my number and I will connect you with a very good family law attorney. I don't know if you're regretting doing it or you're just trying to, I don't know why you're
Sounds
asking.
like he's doing backflips here, to be honest.
Well, yeah, he's trying, if he wants to undo it, but yeah, it's going to be governed eventually by the family law court. But if you call Monday or Tuesday, I'll get you the family law attorney I refer things to.
Signed, Teresa Leahy. From Bannockburn.
Small world. I know a Teresa Leahy out that way.
22 in Waukegan. My God, you want to be more specific? Sorry, couldn't help myself. All right, Leahy, say goodbye. Leave us with a nugget of knowledge.
Oh, I have no knowledge. 312-664-6649. If you're a business owner who has tax problems, go to fightbacknow.com and come to a workshop.
And you'll go over in 2 weeks, right? You're going away on a little siesta on a business trip next weekend, but the following weekend you'll be back
Thursday,
week.
yes.
So 2 Thursdays.
That's correct.
Okay, and it's complimentary. There's no charge.
No charge. Fightbacknow.com.
Fightbacknow.com. Tim Reisdeck.
Correct.
Wham! Nailed it. Leave us with a little nugget of knowledge. A lot of text messages came in. It's amazing. That's why I wanted to bring you on, because it is something that happens every day that nobody talks about it on the radio or just talks about it in general at all.
Yeah.
What do you want to leave us with?
No, I appreciate you allowing me to come on and say this. But again, if you have any questions in regards to our services and so forth, again, we are a very specialized company that specializes in biohazard remediation. If you have any questions, please go to our website. It's Huso Bio. That's HUUSO bio.com. Again, it's Huso Bio, HUUSO bio.com.
Great job.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming in and sharing your expertise. David Schluter, any comment about David saying earlier, Attorney Leahy, that he's the attorney of the show?
I took exception, but
you took exception. You want to rebut?
No,
no.
Fine. We're friends.
I don't care. We need some drama.
not from us two attorneys. You get drama.
Attorney for the show, parentheses, other than the important stuff like IRS and business representation, end of parentheses. I'm sorry about that, but thanks for having me on, David. It's 630-285-5300. Always a free consult. And my YouTube channel is Dave Schluter at That's What Dave Said.
All right, I just want to leave everybody with this piece of information that Steve and I started the show with your client. If you're buying a home, a closing cost credit, and David Schluter will attest to this, is your friend. Okay, if you have a $300,000 home, if you're a seller, and you negotiate down, you list it for $300,000 and you get down to $280,000, you have $20,000 worth of wiggle room there. As long as the home appraises for $300,000, if the seller comes to you instead of saying, okay, our price is $280,000, but I want to buy it from you at $300,000 with a $20,000 closing cost credit, you're still netting out $280,000. It's not costing you anything. It's benefiting the buyer, and the buyers need that money in this market with the higher rates to get into that house due to the closing costs and all the new rules that FHFA, the Federal Finance Housing Administration, shoved down Fannie and Freddie's throats. You could cover a ton of closing costs, which is the biggest barrier to get in right now. Okay, so don't be afraid of closing cost credits. I love them. They're phenomenal. And if you want help with closing cost credits, if you're a buyer, let me know. If you're a seller, to understand how it doesn't negatively impact you at all, call me, 855-56-DAVID, 855-56-DAVID, which is 855-563-2843, or visit our website, 56david.com. I am also starting a podcast for business owners in Northern Illinois. And I would love to have, if you're a business owner, send me an email, david@56david.com, to schedule a time to be on our podcast. Steve and I talked about it coming down. We're doing business owners in Northern Illinois, small and medium business owners, to give you the voice that you need to grow your business and sustain this market. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next Saturday. Have a great weekend. Go Hawks.
Hi, it's Lou Manfredini, and I'm here with